Hey guys, and welcome back to another King of the Hill live stream. I believe this is episode number 7. These have been getting really popular and been super fun to do, and just get different people involved playing on the channel. We have quite a tough list of competitors once again this week. So let's just hop into the game now. And you can see we already have Extreme Meme Team's very own El Cone, and he's going to be up against Chosen One in the first round. After that, the list does go like this: Noob for Life, Papa Palpatine, Baron, A-Move Hacker, Stormrunner, and Parknap. And perhaps one of yourselves listen to this right here. If you guys do want to compete, just let me know in the comment section. On the right hand side, I will see it. Just spam it until I manage to see it, and I will add you to the list. We should go through this relatively quickly. It's a shorter list of competitors than usual, so people may play twice, or you feel free to hop in and just have a good time. Now, it's very simple rules, really nice for new players and experienced players alike. So it is a best of one, winner stays on, and the goal is trying to get the longest streak possible and also to be the king at the end of the stream. We're playing with unit caps turned on, just so there's none of that nasty kind of spamming of units, and the attacking rule is in play as well, so you must always be attacking your opponent. Stormrunner, are we on the beta? I believe there is no beta. It is gone. It has finally gone live, so everyone should be on the same format, I believe. Just check my Discord, make sure we're all good. Yep, Chosen One says he's jumping in now. And good, and a big shout out to all the competitors today for allowing El Cone and Chosen One to go first, as those guys are on a bit of a time limit, so it's nice to get them in nice and early on, and it just makes things super useful. It's nice to have them playing on the channel. So we'll just wait now for Chosen One to hop in. I can't remember if I have him as a friend on here. I feel like I do, so we'll just give him 5 minutes to hop on. And we are going to be playing on Troll Country as well, a super close quarters and bloody affair. Always a good way to start off a tournament of any description. Speaking of tournaments, we should hopefully be having another Death Before Dishonor on Friday. I need to speak to the finalists of Season 2, see if we can get those going for the Season 2 finale. If not, we will carry on with Season 3. And that is a standard 4-man tournament, best of 3 with a best of 5 finals. And if you want to get involved, hit me up on Discord. So hopefully, fingers crossed, someone let me know if it works. There should be a Discord link in the description. I'm praying. If there is, it should work. Take to my Discord where you can get involved in tournaments. You get a heads up on King of the Hills as well, just to get into the list nice and early on. So let's see, has Chosen One popped online yet? Looks like not just yet. He did say he was just popping on. Send him a quick message. Cool. And we will just give him a couple of minutes. If not, we will just get Noob for Life to hop in his place as he is next on the list. Or the RNG met. The link is there. Yes! Thank God. Hello, Palpatine as well. Good to see you. Hope you can make it for the tournament. I know you were a bit hit or miss, but you are going to be up. Not on the game after this, but the one after that. Should be some good fun. Sorry, someone, I'm not sure what you mean by RNGMET. That might just be my puny brain not working correctly. May have to move Chosen down one place in the list. We'll give him a few minutes. He is online on his phone. So he should be hopping on in a second. Can anyone top, though, the 7-game win streak of A-Move last stream, which was quite a feat, going Lizardmen every single time and taking down opponent after opponent, taking down some very high skill players as well. I believe he took down Flying Taco, Chosen One, El Cone, King of the Dead, alongside a load of other great competitors as well, which was stupidly good fun. And then as soon as he went off Lizardmen, went to Wood Elves, he did get defeated, which is, you know, shows him right for turning his back onto the old ones there. Hello, Parkmap, hope you're doing good. Oh, Autogen Armies, not today's Stormrunner. That is a tournament we will be playing in the future. So we have a really cool idea that my Discord managed to come up with, and it is going to be random auto-generated armies and also random factions. So I'm going to have a big wheel, which I'm going to spin, or some dice I'll roll. We'll figure out in some cool cinematic way, and you'll basically be given a faction and an army to play, and it's going to be utterly messy. You're friends with V-Claw. See, I'm not really sure who V-Claw is. I believe he hosts a tournament that I was in once. a couple of months back. But that does ring a bell. Come on, Chosen One. Where are you? It says he's online now. So we'll give him just a couple more minutes. Yeah, it's not in that lobby yet. But, a move. I don't think I actually know V-Claw, but I think I had to become friends with him and someone else to play in. I swear there was a tournament I played in a couple of months ago. It might be my first ever tournament, in fact. So it might have been a little while back. But nice to see you in the stream. So good see some pretty wild army picks, I expect. Cool, just saying, Chosen One. I messaged just saying I can always pop him into round 2 if needs be. QQ. Sorry, we're all good. Alcone flicking through his armies there. Bloody hands. Good to see some green screen representation. You want more nets from El Halcone. That was... I think I spoke about that in a video I put up afterwards at some point of how infuriating that must have been to play against just that many nets. Oh, but still, you managed to swarm. You managed to swarm, and the dinos got the victory. Saurus Invicta, which is what I like to see. Hopefully we get some nice dinosaur action today as well. And in comes Chosen One. Hey! Oh, looks like the lobby might be glitching a little bit. He's not loading in properly. There he is. Good, good. So these guys will be a gents agreement for the first matchup. Then from this point onwards, we do have a tiny rule change. The king will now pick 1, but also ban 2 for his first 3 games in his reign. From that point onwards, it will revert back to a 1 pick, 1 ban situation. So the longer you become king, it becomes a little bit harder to hold on to that crown. So it's gents for the first game. Chosen One, I hope to play more than one match, but here you are, Halcone. El Halcone and Chosen One, both very good players. As are, to be honest, all the players in today's list. We have a very action-packed group of people. Should be some good fun. I see a few of you guys are in chat as well. How many games till the lobby crashes? Probably half a game, I recommend. Last time, it just kicked me out completely. And, they just carried on and played the game, which was a disaster because then they knew each other's armies, but both players were gents. And I think that was a move against someone. No, that was King of the Dead versus Chosen One, I think, a couple of streams ago. Gents it is. Cool. So, first game, going to be a nice gentleman's agreement. I don't really mind how the players decide the first game. And from that point onwards, the king will pick and ban 2. Which is, your right as king to dictate the kind of style of the game, but it also gives your opponent, who is picking against you, a bit of a chance to try and counter, especially after that nice little first 3-game buffer is up. So it looks like... What do you offer? So Chosen One wants to play Skaven by the looks of El Halcone Bretonnia. That could be a pretty decent matchup. I've seen... that kind of matchup go both ways fairly effectively. Lots of cheap and cheerful cav and peasants to swarm Skaven gun lines and so forth. But and also some decent anti-large cav as well to take out rat ogres and usual tools which would be much better against the peasant mobs and so forth. But Skaven can go up against anyone. El Halcone says he has a build he wants to try. So it looks like we are going to be going Chosen One's Skaven up against El Halcone's Bretonnia, I believe. Should be a pretty fun matchup. We do have a little bit of a rivalry here between the two clans of XMT and ODM. Should be some good stuff. I made my way inside and it was a free reign, really. Shidoku, how's it going, my friend? Good to see you around. Go Chosen. Those guys are in fact clanmates. So it should be pretty good. See which one can represent their clan the strongest here. Both these guys, of course, are very good players. And just a quick reminder of the list for anyone who's joined a little bit late. We have the mighty Elhal Conan Chosen One in round 1. Then we have Noob for Life, Papa Palpatine, Baron, A-Move Hacker, Stormrunner, and Park Map. And if yourselves want to get involved, let me know in the chat, and I will hopefully pick up on it and add you into the list. If not, I'm sure someone will drop me a message and let me know, because I will be looking at the chat, mainly between games, as the chat is up on my phone. Should be some good fun. 4 Warp Grinders, Howlin, Wolfgale, and Snicket Snare. El Halcone. Oh, that was kind of the other way around. El Halcone bringing all the nets last week. Warhammer has clans. It does indeed. I even have my own little tiny fin. It's not a clan, but I do have kind of the little name in front of me, which is DBD for Death Before Dishonor, which is the name of my tournaments, which is all about, you know, before you would kind of disgrace yourself by cheating or just being an arse in general, you would rather die, so, you know, Death Before Dishonor. And that's how I kind of run the Discord. If you're a nice enough person, it doesn't really matter if your skill level, if you're just a nice person, you're, you know, easy to work with and so forth, and you just give it a good go, you'll always be welcome back to the channel to play in future events and so forth. Looks like El Halcone is ready, so just waiting on the Mighty Chosen. The best clan is ODM. Shidoku, I feel like you may be slightly biased being the founder of ODM. But it looks like Chosen One is ready as well. So we will start the battle. Good to get this rolling. I came in to find the Vermintide. Yes, yeah, welcome back, Daniel. You do get your favoured Skaven up early this time, which is good to see. No Dino Boys just yet, but I am very excited. I'm sure they will appear at some point. Best clan if you like big baguettes. Cool. So we are loading in now. Troll Country, super fun map, and it's normally a map we start most streams off with, as it just gets things underway in a real blood and thunder affair. Lots of sneaky stabbings as well. Just a super fun game. And we do have, unfortunately, someone who often kind of helps moderate chat and so forth and helps me out on Discord a lot is someone called Raptor. And he can't make it today, but he has suggested a map for the final game, and it is particularly disgusting, so that'll be a little bit of a cheeky surprise. So let's check out El Halcone's army right here. We do have 3 field trebuchets. Looks like none of them are blessed, so just the standard ones here. Peasants launching rocks at the opponent should be relatively effective there. For his front line, we have the OP unit of the game, the mighty peasant mobs. 2 of them, in fact, can go toe-to-toe with any warrior in the old world and be fairly successful. But in reality, they're cheap and cheerful chaff. So we have men-at-arms, including some spearmen-at-arms for a front line, which is, you know, just there to hold back the tides of enemy while the rest of his army does the real damage. And for the rest of that army, we have battle pilgrims, including the Holy Wardens, who are the Regiment Renowned version, who look incredibly cool with that purple aura coming off their hammers and flaming swords as well. We have a couple of cheap and cheerful Pox Arrow Bowmen, 2 units in fact, a little bit of a cav contingent with the defenders of Fleur de Lis, which are the Regiment Renowned Knights Errant, who also have Frenzy, which is pretty good. Is that the only cav? No, it looks like we also have some mounted yeomen on the left-hand side. Now for his leadership corps, we do have the Fey Enchantress with Earthblood, come up on top of her unicorn there, looking very regal, kind of side-riding it a little bit, which is very cool. The mighty Gotrek has decided to stand with the Bretonnians, taking some great anti-large, unbreakable, and just an all-round beast. And the Green Knight, so a big batch of heroes trying to carry the day. Now for the Skaven in the front line, we have cheap and cheerful Skaven slaves. Going to have some awesome fights up against those peasant mobs. We'll try and get some nice zoom-ins on them. Some clan rats in a secondary line, just to kind of, you know, be a little bit more of a stronger backbone of this army. And in reserve, we have some clan rats with spears. The Ishig Triads, Regiment Renowned Eshin Triads, one of my favourite new additions to the Skaven, can make a duplicate of themselves and also do some decent anti-large damage. Also have those weeping blades, they can actually tear apart knights fairly effectively. In the centre pocket, we have some teeth breakers and another unit of rattling guns. Should do some decent damage against any cheeky cav trying to pop into the back lines. And we have some rat ogres dotted around as well. Looks like 3 units. A really nice counter pick to cav. They can pin units in whilst the rattling gunners do some serious damage. We have a plague priest on top of his little podium here. Going to be... where is he? I normally expect him to be swinging up on top, but he is just sitting down at the front. I was getting mixed up there with the much cooler Grease here. That's going to be coming in, giving some great battlefield presence. We also have some Doomflayers on this left-hand flank supporting a Warlock Master. So not actually, I thought it was going to be Itic Claw here, but just the regular Warlock Master on top of his Mighty Doom Wheel. He has got Arcane Conduit, Wand of Jet, Howling Warp Gale, which won't unfortunately be too useful here, and Warp Lightning, and the battle does get underway. Looks like just good sportsmanship in the chat from both the players, and they are going to be advancing. So who is your money on as those beautiful trebuchets flinging some shots, instantly trying to target down the Teethbreakers, which is a decent pick for them. Although Teethbreakers are rather small unit size, so it might be a little bit tricky to hit them. Peasants aren't known for their accuracy. As we can see, the trebuchets are dotted in 3 separate sections across the battlefield, not near each other at all, which is really nice play. It stretches out your opponent, and if they compromise one, the others can simply crossfire back. So, you know, nice kind of early deployment by the Bretonnians, but the Skaven are now starting to flood in. Doomflayer is going to get a nice early charge on top of these spinner arms. They were braced there, but these guys are still going to quite happily run them over. Green Knight does come swarming out, though, with Gotrek. This could be disaster early on for the Warlock Master. He does not want to fight Gotrek. He's very wisely going to be falling back there. Enchantress as well hopping in and trying to do some damage to some Skaven slaves. So Rat Ogre's also getting in some nice cycle charging in the front line, and we have Skaven slaves trying to get into this back line and hop on top of any targets where they can. Looks like the Teethbreakers using their concealment bombs and Rattling Gunners are starting to unleash some shots, but that Warlock Master's already taken a hefty amount of damage. Now up on the right hand flank, the Rat Ogres did manage to help swarm some Spearmen at arms, but a nice counter charge coming by Mounted Yeomen and also some Peasant mobs do actually force these guys back. They should probably stand and fight this. They'd stand a pretty good shout there if they can shut down these Peasant Bowmen, which I expect this Plague Priest is going to do. So the Skaven doing fairly effectively here, trying to swarm and get into the back line, but all 3 trebuchets are still active. We do have some Peasant Bowmen getting attacked here by some Clan Rats, but the mighty Peasant mobs heroically going to be charging in, blocking those guys up and allowing those Peasant Bowmen to get back online. These cavalry need to get active and start doing some nice charges on those Skaven slaves just to force them off and reduce the pressure on this left-hand flank. The Skaven are doing a really decent job here of overwhelming the peasants where they can. Plague Priest probably going to hop back on top of this Field Trebuchet and just shut him down. Green Knight trying his best up against some summoned Clan Rats here. A bit of a contest. He doesn't really want to get stuck in here, and that is a problem I find with the Green Knight. He wants to be chasing down these big targets, the Doomflayer, also the Warlock Master and so forth, but he can get swarmed by simple Skaven slaves and so forth and get pinned in pretty nastily. So it looks like the Teethbreakers up to 48 kills now. A lot of those pretty friendly fire against some decent shots into the Holy Wardens, allowing some cheap and cheerful Skaven slaves to trade very effectively. But the defenders of Fleur de Lis have now found a nice pocket into the back line. Probably going to be trying to rout these forces here and get into the Teethbreakers. Little do they know the Ishik Triads have emerged, and they have their little summon here. So they're body doubles who I don't believe do any damage, but they do help pin in forces, and this is not a good fight for the defenders. Everywhere else across the battlefield we have small pockets of peasants resistance, but for the most part the Skaven are seemingly starting to dominate. Rat Ogres probably should just leave these Spearmen at arms over here isolated on this flank, pop back, shut down the Field Trebuchet and get back into the main fight using their extra mobility there. Teethbreakers though still doing a decent job, really helping out the Skaven front line. Do have some Skaven slaves shattering, but they won't be missed too much. Defenders of Fleur de Lis also taking quite a pounding as peasants are fleeing in all directions. So we still have one Field Trebuchet active on the left hand side, but the centre one is offline and the right hand one is soon to be. Now where is Gotrek? There he is. Gotrek standing firm with the Green Knight. Looks like they may have been able to catch a Plague Priest as well, but he's just going to use his added mass, also sacrificing some Clan Rat Spearmen to pin in Gotrek, the Green Knight, and simply make a nice escape. The hero core of Bretonnia is still very, very healthy though, so maybe they can do a bit of a miracle and pull it back. But unfortunately for the Bretonnians, been deployed so defensively near this back line, they are starting to rout off the field very effectively. One Field Trebuchet only getting 11 kills here, but it's still active, and the hope of Bretonnia still remains. Rogers have now found some home on some Peasant Bowmen. Not going to go too good for those poor fellows, unfortunately. And the battle does seem to be turning in favour of the Skaven, the horrible hordes. I'm sure Daniel will be very pleased with how this battle is going so far. Nice Warp Lightning coming down as well. Just trying to finish off the Battle Pilgrims and get them off the field as quick as possible. We have some Doomflayers starting to do their best Sons of Anarchy impression and rolling dirty through the peasants here. Disgustingly there. Severing that guy, poor man's head there, I believe, by swinging in. It looks like the game could be over. Balance of power not too far gone, but I believe that is because of the health of this hero core. And if they can assassinate the Warlock Master, perhaps the terror-causing Green Knight may be able to force off the Skaven here. And there's by no means the Halcone given up here. He's managed to get into the backline with some Rattling Guns, and maybe I spoke a little too early. If these two ranged troops actually get forced off here, it is going to be an absolute mission to drag down this very healthy hero core here. But over on the left-hand flank, the last field trebuchet, the Bastion of Hope, is being dragged down by rat ogres. These poor peasants just getting pounded into the ground there by that rat ogre, who literally picks that poor guy up and smashes him into oblivion. Really nice play here by Chosen One, ensuring he forces off all these units. As you can see, he's got a ton of units on the periphery here, doing some decent work. Now, poor little Gotrek is being skirmished here by some rattling gunners. Of course, they are faster. They're going to be getting him into a nice kill box and slowly whistling his health down. Fair Enchantress, though, doing a decent job escaping the Ishig Triads here. Looks like she might be just popping it into safety of the back lines for now. Rattling gunners will eventually run out of ammo as well. The Teeth Breakers are getting fairly low. Do they have enough about them to finish off Gotrek? I would try and focus these heroes down one by one, but the Green Knight, absolute beast of a combatant at the moment, dealing, very heroically. This is very chivalrous knight action, going toe-to-toe with some rat ogres, taking a little bit of a pounding, but he won't mind that too much. And the Warlock Master just chilling out on the edge there, probably saving up Winds of Magic. Now, if we take into greater stock of the whole battlefield, it looks like, apart from some Spearmen at Arms who are close to breaking, it is just the Hero Corps. What's this up in the tree? Some more Spearmen. They will slowly be dragged down by clan rats. So can the brave heroes of Bretonia do the ultimate kind of RTS move and somehow survive this? Well, not RTS, sorry. More like, what's it called, where you get like a character and you kind of go through, like a Skyrim game. Can't remember what it's called, but they may be able to pull this through here. Rattling Gunners now, unfortunately, in combat, the Green Knight needs to get out of there as quick as possible. Rogers are starting to swarm over as clan rats do start to flock to Gotrek's banner, try to drag him down. So it's probably quite a nice play here. Get the rat ogres on the big guys and swarm Gotrek just with your cheap and cheerful chaff for now, as he will take damage to pretty much everything, even though he can do a lot of damage himself. Fae Enchantress just chilling on the kind of periphery as much as possible, getting her Winds of Magic up where possible. It's Overlord. I think it's GG, Chosen One. And I think he may be right. I think the Bretonians may be able to kind of claw this back. It looked pretty disastrous early on with, all the Bretonian forces routing and running, but they are merely peasants, and we do not care about such things. Instead, we care about the mighty heroes and the tales, of course, lead to. And we're just about going to be able to do it, I think. Clan rats trying to flock in as much as possible. We are probably going to get a big old charge at some point, but the Teeth Breakers are still here and they will do decent, consistent damage to Gotrek. Warlock Master just hanging out on the outskirts here. Again, doesn't really have any spells which are going to be too good at dealing with heroes. His stuff is kind of more used for crowd control. The Green Knight has broken free, going to be hopping on top of the Doom Flare, which is probably a good play here. Doesn't want to be swarmed by clan rats and bogged down. So let's see. Fae Enchantress still running, popping off those hills onto the Green Knight, although I can see his healing cap in sight. Plague Priest also just chilling out. All these Skaven forces really just need to start kind of rallying together, getting into one and picking on one target, trying to trap in the Green Knight and assassinate him before moving on to Gotrek and so forth. But it is pretty tough. So Fae Enchantress may be coming in for a bit of a wizard duel, probably not a very recommended one. But she can pop in there and use her extra mobility to just escape once more. It looks like Plague Priest, it's going to scare her off fairly effectively there. Green Knight trying to hop on. He has popped his Dolorous Blade there. Not sure why that is called Dolorous Blade. Probably something in lore. Perhaps a former lover gifted him a weapon or so forth. I'm not entirely sure. Plague Priest is going to start rolling over the Green Knight. Now, what does magic damage left in this army? The Plague Priest does. So he might do some decent work to the Green Knight if he can make contact. What's the Warlock Master? Where are you? Looks like he does magic range damage, but not magic combat, which is a little bit unfortunate here. I'd bring the Plague Priest back and trying to assassinate the Green Knight if I was here. Maybe wait for the blade to wear off first. Ishig Triads as well, trying their best to pull him down, but he's still incredibly healthy here. Gotrek doing what Gotrek does, just slapping some rats left and right here and get some nice close-up animations on the bloodied veteran here. Just chilling out at the moment. Come on, boy. Get in there for some attacks. Nope, just going to stand there and get stabbed a little bit in classic Slayer style. Fae Enchantress once again darting left and right, not being chased down. Green Knight is slowly disappearing, but Fae Enchantress unfortunately is just too quick to catch, and she is a huge problem here. Gotrek, of course, being in sustained combat here, so it is all good. I see in chat we have saying Brett wins Sudoku. That is a pretty popular theory, I think, with myself right now as well. I just can't see them being dragged down. He's not going to let the Fae Enchantress be caught here. I don't know if the Skaven have enough to drag down Gotrek and the Green Knight. It's going to be pretty tough. But that healing once again being popped off over here, getting both Gotrek and the Fey Enchantress. But their healing cap is starting to come into sight here. I really think he needs to get the magic attacks here off the Plague Priest. Let's see, that is melee attack, yeah, magic over here. Saturated on top of some smaller units to try to pin in the Green Knight. But it looks like he may be going for an assassination attempt instead on top of Gotrek. Which, you know, a nice charge coming by the Doomflayers, getting some decent work off. And the Teeth Breakers plus this other unit of Rattling Gunners are now starting to get some work onto the Fey Enchantress. But yeah, he really needs to swarm one target and try and break it down and finish it off. And eventually kill Gotrek, kill the Green Knight, force the Fey Enchantress into combat. I think it's realistically the only way here. Gotrek in there, trying his best, getting run over a little bit. How many kills is he up to now? 155, but I'm sure the Skaven will gladly pay that price if it does allow him to get that victory. Trying to force off the Fey Enchantress, but she's just a little bit too quick, being the ultimate meme lord right here and an absolute troll, just about outrunning those rat ogres there. It's just, there's just no way of, I say there's no way of catching her. She does get clobbered there. If she starts to get staggered here by the rat ogres and pinned in, he needs to get this Warlock Master on her, move the Plague Priest around in front and pin her in. So she does take a bit of damage, but unfortunately does once again manage to escape. But by casting her spell, looks like she's been slowed down once more, starting to take some real damage here. Green Knight very wisely hops on top of the Rattling Gunners and starts to shut them down. Teeth Breakers though are out of ammunition, but you know, it still allows you to push that balance power in your favour. So it's just being used to clear up the back lines. And Skaven so close to catching the Fey Enchantress multiple times now, but she's still going strong. Gotrek on the other hand, starting to break slightly, down to 1,300 health. Clan Rats doing their job here. Balance power now very slightly still in favour of the Skaven. 175 forces versus 3, but these are 3 of the mightiest warriors of all time, so it's still pretty tough. Although the Fey Enchantress is now and again getting caught and taking damage, down to 1,900 health. Warlock Master doing a decent job in hunting down, but another hill coming in. It should be hitting their healing cap incredibly soon, however. And Gotrek, 1,000 health. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Both these players are fighting absolute ham right now, trying desperately to gain the crown. Nice shot coming in on the Green Knight here as well. Just stutter him a little bit as he tries tasting down that Plague Priest. With the anti-large bonus of the Ishik Triads is hopping in here, trying to beat him down. And Rat Ogres once again are going to be kind of swarmed in. These guys have been used really effectively so far as a roadblock, trying to pin in forces. Gotrek down to just 917 health. Looks like a summon of Clan Rats does come down as well to pop on top of him. Plague Priest needs to get out there, doesn't want to be engaged with Gotrek if he doesn't have to. And the Green Knight's also taken a bit of a beating. Looks like an Earthblood was about to go down, but instead she decided to flee. Earthblood as well, to be honest, wouldn't have been much use here. Green Knight and Gotrek both at their healing cap here. Ogres once again forcing off the Fey Enchantress. Let's see what they are saying. Just have fun. So let's see. Gotrek doing a pretty awesome attack there, swinging left and right, dragging down Barats. But these guys are a simple summon. These kills will mean nothing to the rats themselves. 570 health is pretty low. Green Knight as well, down to 1,300. Fey Enchantress still really does not want to get engaged here. I can't blame her. Of course, not really wanting to be swarmed by filthy rats. It's not a life I would like either. Green Knight does rally over here, trying to get in to save Gotrek, but he's down to 150 health. And this will start pushing the balance power massively in favour of the Greenskins, hopefully keeping their courage and leadership up, allowing them to stay in the fight a bit longer, because if the Fey Enchantress breaks, this Green Knight does not have enough about him at the moment to kind of maintain victory here. Ishik Triads now are isolated, however, fighting the two mighty warriors themselves. 91 hit points here for Gotrek, but they do unfortunately start to tear out. Green Knight should really start chasing them off the battlefield now. Fey Enchantress just fleeing for the hills, trying to get back to her main forces. And these guys are running over to attack now. Ishik Triads should rally, I would think. Teeth Breakers probably won't. Gotrek down to just 91 health, and the Green Knight down to 1,200 as the main engagement is about to get underway. Green Knight will probably carry down. It's boring as hell. Yeah, sorry about the kind of dragged out game, but you know, both these players really want the win, which is understandable. Gotrek charging for 91. Surely the Clan Rats should just turn and finish him off, you would expect. Green Knight's starting to get pinned, and in comes the Warlock Master, which would be, you know, a fairly worthy death for Gotrek. He is trying to search for death as much as possible. And going down to a Lord at least isn't as bad as going down to some filthy rats. Looks like the Rat Ogre does in fact get the final kill there. So as she tries to rally and come back into the main fray here, some of the clan rats still doing their best to poke down the Fey Enchantress. We have a nice warp lightning coming in on top of the Green Knight, doing some serious damage, down to 1,000 hit points now, as everyone does come running in. The Green Knight is going to have to stand and fight it if he wants the Fey Enchantress to escape, but it looks like they're probably both going to stand and fight as much as possible. Green Knight 900 health, Fey Enchantress will probably break if he goes down. So yeah, good idea. Just focus down the Green Knight here, blob him in with Clan Rats, Rat Ogres and so forth, and then constantly cycle charge with the Plague Priest would be my best bet there. Probably not worth even chucking in the Warlock Master, it might not be worth the risk. Looks like the Fey Enchantress may be going for the assassination attempt here. I don't know if that's a fight she can realistically win with the Plague Priest nearby. Looks like we do have another summon come in as well. The Enchantress is fairly isolated here, going to be trying to escape though as the Green Knight is standing his ground. 750 health, he is slowly going down. The Enchantress leadership still fairly healthy though, but I think if the Green Knight goes down, that balanced power is probably going to start pushing us towards army losses. You can see most of Skaven just trying to chase down the Fey Enchantress. We do have some shatters, but not any particularly important units. Just bring all the Skaven, don't bother even chasing her at this point. I would literally swarm everything onto the Green Knight. He will go down, I'm 90% sure, and then deal with the Fey Enchantress afterwards. I mean, chasing her down, yeah, he's getting a little bit of damage, but he's allowing the Green Knight to rack up some decent kills. I suppose he is just facing a summon right now, so not the worst kind of situation. But a lot of the Skaven are starting to break here. The Legion Corps trying to hold them together and chase down the Fey Enchantress. Green Knight trying to force his way out, but Clan Rat's keeping him in nice and tight. Yeah, bring the Plague Priest, bring the Warlock Engineer, Master, sorry, come over here and just assassinate the Green Knight. Ragos once again pop on top of the Fey Enchantress, down to 1,000 health. Looks like her buddies are starting to roll over and help. Plague Priest does hop on top of the Green Knight now, but he's down to 500 health himself. Green Knight down to 169. Massive magic attacks coming in here by the Plague Priest. Should help finish off this guy down to 160 hit points. And I don't think... Oh no, he gets in a massive hit and brings down the Plague Priest there. Pops at Dolores Blade and slaughters him down to 106 health here. But the Fey Enchantress is forced off and shattered there. Green Knight going out with a swing there, but El Halcone is going to be going down here, I think, in round one. Very well played to both players. Overall, I think the Green Knight, he does cause terror here, but with the Skaven leadership so healthy and just retreating back there, the Green Knight does fall into the dirt. Very well played to both competitors. Very long drawn out game. That Hero Corps nearly managing to pull it off. 230 kills on Gotrek. The problem he had really with the Green Knight, he's not very good at dealing with mass opponents. As you saw that at the end, he managed to assassinate the Plague Priest and so forth, but mass rats will slowly bring him down. We have our first king, so Chosen One is the first king of the stream, which is always good to see. So we'll pop him up one there. And our next challenger will be Noob for Life. After that, we do have Papa P, Baron, A-Move, Hacker, Storm Runner, and Park Map. Oh, check Discord, got a load of messages. Oh, got a load of people who want to play. Awesome. So, Consul of Rome is added to the list as well. Consul. Oh, sorry. I'll set this up first, make sure we get everyone in the lobby. And then I'll answer a lot of people. Got a few people messaging about trying to join the thing. Do we use attacking rules? Yes. Sorry, mate, that was just 10 minutes of... No worries. No, it was still a fun game. So we're going to be switching maps to Tower of Hoeth. So I got chat. I will check in with you in a second. Apologies for kind of being distracted at the second, but I'm just going to send a load of messages to people. I can add you to the list. And got one more person as well. Apologies for not talking. I'll be back in a second. So it looks like we may have Consular Rome, Vayash, and Flying Man Diapers joining as well. I'll add them to the list for now, and we will see if they want to play. When will I play? Are you on the stream? Cool, New for Life is here. Perfect. Hey. King picks and bans 2. Cool, while these guys start sorting out, I will actually finally get to you guys, so thank you for bearing with me there. I'm just trying to sort out a load of new people who want to join in and play. So let's see what I have missed. Looks like we're Ronan, nice to see you, man. How's it going? Sort of as well. I don't think I've seen you before, so nice to see you on the channel. Welcome, welcome. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name. It looks rather Russian. But surprise. I am very surprised to see you here. How's it going? Nice to see you guys all around. You thought Brett would win, Shinoku, but they didn't. They did eventually get dragged down. And what's up, Gunda Plays, also known as Zeus. He's a really cool guy and should hopefully be competing as well. Zeus, yes, of course, you will be added to the list. Let's add you on there, my friend. So, the new list currently stands. Noob for Life versus Chosen now, who is the current king. After these guys, we have Papa Palpatine, Baron, A-Move, Stormrunner, Park Map, Consul of Rome, Vayash, Flying Man, and Zeus. Well, a couple of those last guys, those guys are starting matchups. I'll message me on Discord as we speak. Like 1 hour, because I have to do it this free for 20 right now. Then free. Cool. I'll see who else has message. Looks like real good. So Vayash is currently in a tournament, but he should hopefully be able to play later on, which is perfect, as he is quite a way down the list. So are we getting? So Chosen One is going Wood Elves, which is going to be awesome to see some Knife Wood Elf action. Banning Tomb Kings and Bretonia. 2 matches. I probably wouldn't ban Tomb Kings. I don't think I mind that matchup too much with Wood Elves, but Bretonia, I 100% understand ban him. And it looks like... Oh no, he's going to ban Empire and High Elves. He doesn't want to ban Bretonia. I'd probably ban High Elves and Bretonia if I was myself. It looks like New for Life is going Norska, a very good Norscan player all round as well. So it should be some exciting stuff. Oh no, he's switched to Tomb Kings. No, Chosen One, what have you done? Why are you representing these disgusting, vile Tomb Kings? You could be representing the beautiful Wood Elves. But it looks like Tomb Kings up against Norska. A really nice counter pick by Noob for Life there. Really good swarming faction. Can get into those back lines, shut down the nasty range tools the Tomb Kings can bring. And also a decent amount of anti-large opportunities. Sweet, sweet. Looks like we're all good. Yes, guys, yes. Thank you, Gunda Plays, for shouting out there. Almighty Zeus. Do feel free to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, we do tournaments, King of the Hills, live streams, multiplayer videos, all good fun stuff involving Total War Warhammer. So if you do like what you see, please do feel free to subscribe and like. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, I do have a Patreon account just down below. If you hit that like button, a puppy is born into the world. If you hit that subscribe button, a kitten is born into the world. So you get loads of awesome, beautiful stuff brought in. I believe we are up to 190 subscribers, so getting very close to 200 here. We've certainly got to 200 quicker than we got to 100, so let's try and push that over the edge, and it'd be very cool. These guys are sorting out matchups. Once again, going to Discord. Awesome. And sort out getting people in. Looks like we have Daedalus as well coming in. So he'll be added to the edge of the list. We may have to make a cut-off point fairly soon after that, as we do have a large number of competitors. So Al Halcone has already played, so I'll just rub him off my nice little whiteboard. So a big thank you for him for playing. Super competitive and good player. Competitive in the good way as well, not as in, you know, you get people who kind of demand victory at all costs. I just mean he's a very talented player. So New for Life is ready, just waiting on the mighty Chosen One. Secha wants to know your location. Well, Tomb Kings led by a Greek god is a very different situation to the Tomb Kings I described, of course. Tower of Hearth, super fun map. I use it quite a lot in tournaments. There's a nice open plain on the left-hand flank, as you can see. The right-hand flank is dominated by a huge amount of forest and woodland. Allows for a lot of sneaky stabbings. I expect probably New for Life to deploy in this forest here and push up as close to the Tomb Kings as possible, just in case they have nasty tools like your Shopti Great Bows and so forth. But again, if you do have those type of tools, you merely go on the left-hand flank side here, and as they come out of the forest, you shoot them anyway. So either way, you know, you can get a little bit closer and mitigate some of that damage, or mitigate some of that damage, but at the end of the day, you're still going to take a few shots going in for the long haul. Should be good fun. I see so many people watching. These streams are just getting more and more popular, which is great to see. Lots of new faces and lots of old faces as well. But that makes my day. Always love watching Skaven win. Yes, Skaven getting a win straight out of the gate here. Chosen One, I think, has used Skaven quite a lot on the channel before. Very, very top player. So, beautiful high elf map here, and I see some dragons, which I'm very excited. Nice little palace up on the left-hand side here. Both players loaded in very quickly, so let's go through the Challengers army. And the man, the myth, the legend, Frog the Troll King coming in to try and claim that crown and prove once and for all he's the true king. So decent, well, very good melee combatant here. Regeneration, all that good stuff will be very decent against taking down the constructs. For the rest of the leadership, we do have a Famir Balefiend of Fire. Really nice pick here. Looks like we do have Burning Head here, which is going to be so useful if Chosen One's micro slips for an instant. It can completely roast an entire front line of Tomb Kings. Cascading Flycoke and Fireball, so a nice little kit overall. As expected, he is starting to kind of deploy roughly within this tree line. We have two Famir Warriors. We're both with great weapons. They should do very decent up against the large foes. They have the anti-large and, of course, the Armor Sundrum. We have two Frost Worms up in the skies. These two-headed chilly dragons right up here cause terror. Of course, have breath attacks and, I believe, slow enemies down as well, but should be a pretty good, useful tool. And then for the front line, cheap and cheerful for the most part. Actually, pretty mixed. We have Marauders mixed in with one unit of Marauder Champions, the much more elite version. We also have the Brutes of the Hound, Regiment of Renowned Marauder Berserkers, who will be able to destroy quite a lot of Tomb King infantry very quickly and effectively. Now let's have a look at the regal and amazing Tomb Kings, as I'm sure Zeus would have them. Two units of Skeleton Horseman Archers up front for a little bit of cheeky harass. They're just such a good value unit overall, can be used to chase off units late game. And a nice defensive posture coming up here. So we have Skeleton Warriors and Tomb Guard all kind of mixed in together along the front line and on the flanks. In the rears, we have two units of Skeleton Spearmen and a nice ranged pocket in the centre. We have the Regiment of Renowned Skeleton Archers, looking particularly vicious right here. Another unit of Skeleton Archers and also some Shopti Great Bows who are going to do some great long-range damage. Need to target down Frog and those Famir as quick as possible. And then, I thought we had the dreaded triple chariot build, but instead we have two chariots with Tomb Princes riding dirty on them. And we also have Ark in the back, so no Setra. Setra will grumble in the dirt here, but Ark in the black is going to be leading the forces here, so we should get this underway as quick as possible. What's this on the flank? We also have two carrying as well for a little bit of harass. They'll do okay at chasing off routing troops, but they won't affect the battle too much, I don't think. There's no javelins to kind of take down. We do have a Spirit Leech coming on the Famir Balefiends early on. On the Balefiends, sorry, just the basic Famir with great weapons. Tomb Princes both going in on the same Marauders here, but going to get countercharged pretty hard here by the Famir. Taking some damage there, probably worth it, but I'm not too sure there. And the Fireball does hit Arkan as he attempts a graceful retreat there. I feel this battle is going to be very, very quick and bloody, pretty much straight out of the gate here. Famir Warriors are trying to chase down the Tomb Princes, just forcing them off, but that is going to bring them into range of the Shopti and the Skeleton Warriors, who are getting in some decent fire now. Brutes of the Hound taking a ton of damage from these Skeleton Horsemen here. These guys are a pretty elite troop as well, but of course very, very low armor with just 15. They want to close the distance as quick as possible. Unfortunately for the Tomb Princes, it looks like they got caught by Frog, but they turned and just beat the crap out of him, popping all of their buffs, and Frog is just deleted in a matter of seconds here. The armor piercing of the Tomb Princes coming in, just destroying Frog super quick here. A Spirit Leech coming down as well. And down goes the Troll King. That was brutal there. Just good luck, have fun in the chat there. The game is certainly not over. Norscans have managed to get to the front lines, but they've taken a huge amount of damage on some of their elite troops there. And a big burning head coming in, doing some great damage onto skeleton archers, tearing apart one unit. Looks like the other unit, those microed very effectively there by Chosen One, bringing those guys out of damage range. Looks like one of the Frostworms was caught back, just kind of hooked up facing Carrion, not where he needs to be in the battle. He needs to be hopping into the back line as much as possible, shutting down these Ushopto, getting some fantastic damage here. However, the Famir looks like might be able to snipe out Ark, and he's trying to escape here, but taking hits all the while. He has popped all his buffs though, getting his nice damage resistance as well. Frostworm does have a Soul Blight popped to him now, taking a lot of range damage, but these guys need to get into the backline and shut down these archers as quick as possible. Another burning head along this backline right now would be delicious, tearing apart those skeletons. The Warriors trying their best to pop into the back line, and some nice breath attacks coming now into this big blob. I'd now probably take the Frostworms and try and snipe out Arkan, move that balance power a bit equal by taking out the enemy's general, much like your general was felt. Karen here going to be used super effectively to chase off these Famir Warriors, who still have a decent amount of health and could be really pivotal in the late game, but they are getting forced off here. And it looks like Arkan was killed there by the double Frostworm, a late summon of Ushopti, not enough to protect him here, but the princes do fly in onto these Frostworms. One of them though incredibly beaten up here, down to 394 health, but one of the Frostworms itself is forced off. But ahead does come into the backline, but once again really well spotted by Chosen One. And let's see how the battle is going. Fairly even now, of that kind of equalizing of the heroes. A nice fireball coming into that Tomb Prince, and in fact finishing him off there. So down goes another part of the leadership core. If this Frostworm can rally, that could be huge coming in here with some massive breath attacks. Could be really clutch. Looks like the Carrion are going to desperately trying to get over here and force him off, but I feel like he may have enough distance to rally, and he does. And it looks like those Famir as well are rallying on the periphery here, and the Norscans making a really nice comeback here after an early kind of shaky moment with Frog going down so quickly. Frostworm popping onto the Ushopti here, really nice pick. There's going to be a very dangerous Tomb Prince lurking here. It's going to be really hard to drag him down. The front line is slowly being won by Norscans, and these Famir really need to get active again and start moving back to the battlefield and help out the Frostworm. It can't carry the battle by itself, and in fact it is starting to get Rounton off the field as the second one does return. Fortunately, the Famir Balefiend has also been forced off, a little overextended away from his main forces. Nice play initially, trying to hunt down archers and so forth, but now being isolated, Tomb Prince doing a really decent job of hunting him down. Balance of power now massively in favour of the Tomb Kings, and it looks like the King just about with a late scare there. A really nice comeback coming in from Noob for Life. It looks like the King will be able to hold on to his crown, but I said that many a times in the first game as well, and was proven wrong. Frostworm falling back here. Well, unfortunately, it's completely shattered, and I think army losses are setting in, and the King holds firm there. 2 dragons, 4 heads. That is right running, but it was not enough. Very close game there. Really huge sniping potential on both forces. Frog deleted by those 2 princes. I didn't actually check their toolkit, but they probably had some of the fire dealing magic, which really helped finish off Frog super quickly. But Noob for Life fighting tooth and nail here, real knife between his teeth, back into the game to make it a particularly close game there. So we will update the board, and Papa Palpatine, please do hop in. Oh, got a couple of messages on my phone. Cool, cool. Looks like we're all good there. So we will change the scoreboard. So Chosen up to 2 games there. And the next challenger will be the mighty Papa P. Can Chosen One go on a 7-game win streak like A-Move did last time? I think it's going to be a tough affair. After this, we will have Baron and then A-Move himself, Stormrunner, Park Map, Consular Rome, Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, and Daedalus. Nice meme dragons, they did very good. So let's choose a next map. We'll go for the Orgum Shard, should be a pretty fun map. And let's see if Palpatine is online. I know he said he was mixed if he could make it. He wasn't 100% sure. Let's send him a message quickly. Let's hop in. So we'll give me a couple of minutes to hop in. And I'll see what I missed. Poison Ducky! How's it going, dude? Poison Ducky, a nice fellow duck there. Always nice to see a new Jackie Fish stream. You keep on trying to push that, Zeus. No one else has mentioned it yet. What's up, Ludwig? How's it going, dude? Hope you're all good. Frog the Noob for Life special. Hey, looks like Palpatine has joined. Dave the White Lizard, how's it going, my friend? Hope you're all good. Nice to see so many faces here. Tomb Kings vs Norscas and Elven map. Elvens are very, very angry now. We may see some pop in here. Yes, GG's around. That was a really cool game. ODM2 Extreme Meme Team 0. Oof. Big words there. Hello there. I love that Palpatine always enters with the Obi-Wan Kenobi meme of hello there. General Palpa. Still one pick. The Senate has come to beat the king. This is how democracy dies. Although, I suppose how dictatorship dies. But, you know, same thing. It's all good fun. That's kind of true. You sound like Jackie Fish. No, Ronin, don't say this. Don't fuel Zeus's accusations. I haven't really seen too much Jackie Fish. I know of Jackie Fish. I know he's a very cool YouTuber. But I haven't had the pleasure of watching too much of his stuff so far. Speaking of YouTube, if you guys are enjoying what you see, please do consider giving me old likey-like. A puppy will be born into the world. I'll be a happier person. You will feel the blessings of a duck bestowed upon you. If you do enjoy this type of content, please do also feel free to subscribe. I think we're slowly crawling towards that 200 subscriber mark, which is very cool. And as promised, of course, to Aristodemus many moons ago, if we do eventually get to 1,000 subs, there will be a 24-hour stream named in Aristodemus's honour. I'm kind of half hoping we don't reach that point, because I don't know how I would cope with a 24-hour stream. Probably not too well. So it looks like Chosen One is going for the Mighty Wood Elves, and banning Bretonia and Dowie, two good bands there. Palpatine is going for the Children of Chaos, an interesting pick here. I'm expecting a ton of Marauders and probably a big old Chicken Lord as well. They get that big missile resist, but in retaliation, we could see a bit of a Wild Rider rush build. Wild Riders, of course, hit so hard they can run over Marauder front lines like it is nothing. What's up, David? How's it going? Health is the Senate. Yes, yes. Of course, you have to play duck while trying to be a fish in other channels. So, who is your money on? Do you think the new pretender, Papa Palpatine, can seize control of the crown, or will Chosen One reign supreme? So just a heads up on the list for all those competitors currently watching. After this game, we do have the Mighty Baron, then A Move, Storm Runner, Park Map, Consul, Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, and a Deidis. That is if Flying Man gets back to me. I did send him a message, but let's see. Looks like he sent me a message. I missed a message about half hour ago. So he, I don't know if he's in chat or not. So we'll see. We'll see when it gets to time, though. So should be all good. Oh, let's just pop back onto the game. The Orgrim Shard is a quest battle, I believe, for the Mighty Croc Skullboy. Well, I am your apprentice who shall once betray you and kill you, so let's see. Also pretend Star Wars 7 to 9 doesn't exist, or should have let you burn. Nice, nice. So I'm assuming one of these guys will be trying to get the high ground and overcome the opponents. Lots of Chaos Knights. That is a really good shot, actually. I expect a ton of Chaos Knights to do some decent work. Maybe even the Regiment Renowned one. I believe they do fire damage. So that should be quite cool. Looks like we are good to go. 24-hour stream, we need to spam in with bot counts. Ugh. You would never bring Chaos Knights against a possible Wild Rider. Wait, what else? A Waywatcher build, sorry. Ugh, my mind went blank a little bit there, Ronan. It can be tough, they can get sniped out quite quickly. But at the same time, they can run over a ton of the Wood Elves very effectively. So don't mind that play too much. For those who don't know as well, I forgot to mention this earlier, Poison Ducky, and you can see in chat as we speak, is a fellow YouTuber and a fellow duck, which is of course more important. He gets bonus versus bread and causes terror to tiny, tiny fishies. So do feel free to go and check out his channel after this as well. So, let's have a little look at Palpatine's army. We have 3 Marauder Horsemen in the front lines. Decent pick here. Nice skirmish force. Going to be getting in there, throwing their nasty javelins and so forth. And of course, High Elves don't, Wood Elves, sorry, don't wear much armour, so they should do a decent amount of damage. Especially if Durfu is brought as well, they can be used there successfully. We do indeed have some Chaos Knights, one on either flank. Are these the standard version? Yep, looks like we have the standard ones. And then we have a cheap and cheerful Chaos Marauder front line, mixed in with some Mirror Guard for an extra bit of punch. And the Demon Spew Regiment, renowned Forsaken. Really cool to see these guys get in some action. Did see them a couple of streams ago, so it should be quite cool to see how effective they are. He has gone super risky here, going Kolek Sunnington. Now, if there are indeed Way Watchers, as Ronan pointed out, he is a huge pincushion and massive target for those guys. We also have a Chaos Sorcerer of Shadows, brilliant Enfeebling Foe, Pendulum, and Melkoff's Mystifying Miasma. Just to make sure my memory is correct, and that is what he does indeed have. So super fun build there. Oh, this is going to be interesting straight off the bat. So, for Chosen One and the current King, we do have some Way Watchers pushed up front, trying to be protected by some Wild Riders. It looks like we may have a very, very early engagement over here. Wild Riders will trade, obviously, be able to hop on top of these Marauder Horsemasters and hunt them down effectively. At the same time, these Way Watchers are very unprotected as we speak. For his main battle line, it looks like we have a mixture of Dryads and Eternal Guard here. Nice kind of mixed front line. In the back, we have some Eternal Guard as well. Looks like they are protecting some War Dancers. Oh, battle is underway very quickly. So we also have Glade Guard, mixture of those in the main line, and a big Papa Durfu with a Spellslinger of Life. Sorry about going for that army rather quickly, but this is such a key engagement early on. And the Way Watchers are hunted down here by the Marauder Horsemen instantly. But they are taking some big shots themselves. Looks like they're going to be falling back. No! I would... Oh, Giants push forward. I would definitely probably have sacrificed at least one of these guys to try and force off the Way Watchers. But I suppose Wild Riders were getting a little bit danger close. So the Chaos are starting to fall back. Gives us a chance to look at the Wood Elf army in a little bit more detail. So it looks like we do have Starshaft Glade Guard forces overall. And Durfu looks like he's bringing a Flock of Doom, the Manticore Summon, and his Sword of Daith. So load of shots coming to his Chaos Knights, who do get a nice charge into Dryads, but counter-charged effectively by Wild Riders. And with so much firepower coming in, his Chaos Knights could be in deep, deep trouble. The rest of the Chaos Forces are trying to muster a charge here, trying to force their way forward, but all the Marauder Horsemen are kind of clumped up on this left-hand side, doing decent work to the Wild Riders, though, and forcing those guys back. We're getting a huge Flock of Doom coming over here onto these Demon Spew and Chaos Knights. Probably best to pull those guys back. Don't want to be fighting Durfu and... ooh, nice Pendulum coming down, though, on those Way Watchers. It doesn't want to get tied up with Eternal Guard and so forth. Looks like the reserves are starting to be brought up, but this massive range core, fairly unaffected so far. Looks like we do have a nice Storm being called down by the mighty Kolek Sunnington, who's pushing his way into this back line, and he will destroy these guys if help doesn't arrive quickly. Now, where are those Wave Dancers? Over in the front line. We've got Eternal Guard in the front line and so forth, but no, here they come in. The War Dancers do pop in and they will tear apart Kolek. At the same time, though, they will get slapped around a little bit. Chaos Knights flooding into the back line as we speak, so the back line is really under a lot of pressure right now. Manticore Summon, though, is being brought in to try and snipe out Kolek, and that is the problem with him being such a big entity and all this ranged firepower. He is going to be getting dragged down fairly effectively. Durfu is surrounded. Looks like he's taken a couple of javelins to the face as well, but everything around here, he's relatively comfortable, to be honest. The Chaos need to beat down the rest of his army before beating him at the end and kind of isolating him. Eternal Guard are being forced off, should allow these Chaos Marauders to pop into the back line and start hunting down that Glade Guard, which he really needs to start doing, as these guys still have a ton of ammunition left. Looks like Chaos Knights are trying to surround Durfu. Doesn't have an Enfeebling Foe popped on him, so it might be a good idea to try and snipe him. And we do have a ton of Marauder Horsemasters throwing some shots. These guys need to push up, though, and add their kind of fire to the fuel. Or fuel to the fire, sorry. Either way, it works effectively. Chaos Knights doing a decent job here, holding up some Glade Riders, and looks like they're going to be able to force off some Wild Riders into the bargain as well. The backline is kind of swamped, but at the same time, there's a lot of Glade Riders still active as well. Glade Guard, sorry, not Glade Riders. You don't often see Glade Guard. It's nice to see them get some activity. Eternal Guard forced off, but it looks like for the most part what you see is what you get. Do you have Eternal Guard slowly being dragged down by Mirror Guard here? All the Horse Monsters need to lap around a little bit and get some decent throw-in attacks onto Durfu, who is in a bit of a monster mash here. Kolek has popped the Star Crusher and Foe Seeker, coming in and slapping Durfu around fairly effectively, but him himself is getting rather low, so probably best to pull out of range of these archers. And it looks like the king is starting to struggle to hold onto his crown. All the Horse Monsters need to pull back here and allow the Mirror Guard to finish off his Eternal Guard. Nice big shot coming down onto the Glade Guard here, who are now being forced off by cheap and cheerful Chaos Marauders, getting some fantastic value. The Chaos Sorcerer as well hunting down Waywatchers where he can, which is a really nice pick. And now there is a huge amount of firepower coming in onto Durfu. 3 units over here on this flank, I believe 1 just down here. Manticore Summon is popped though, I can hear it in the distance, trying to drag this game back. Where is he? Here he comes in, trying to assassinate Kolek, and that could be a really good way back into the game for the king, who is starting to struggle a little bit here. Needs to get some troops around him and try and maybe rampage this Feral Manticore into the wrong style of troops. But even if Kolek goes down, this is going to be pretty tough. Although Durfu does cause terror, of course, so he may be able to force off kind of the rest of the forces. But in the back line, Chaos Marauders hunting down Glade Guard effectively. Chaos Sorcerer doing a decent job. We do have a few rallying troops, but these Chaos Knights should be able to hunt them down. But down goes Kolek. Really clutch Feral Manticore play coming in there and dragging down the beast. And that guy's still got a little while left hunting down Marauder Horsemen. These guys need to stay active and shooting Durfu, who's getting really low on health, down to 2,000. I say low on health, but low for Durfu is very different to low to normal troops. A lot of troops are starting to rally here in the distance for Chosen One and the Wood Elves. These Glade Guard, though, Melkoff, Mystifying Mantle, popped them, slow them down. Really nice play here by Palpatine, allowing these guys to catch them. It does actually wear off, but these guys did turn to shoot, unfortunately for them, and they will get mulched incredibly quickly. But it looks like the Wood Elves are starting to rally here. Manticore has started to rampage, but it's doing a huge job here chasing down all the Horse Masters. These guys need to be anywhere but here in the battlefield right now. Spread out in all directions, escape where you can, wait for that Manticore to disappear, and then once again hop on top of Durfu and just start launching those spears. It's like Glade Guard starting to break here, but they need to really start to actually break. So these Marauders can force them off the field here. And some Chaos Knights shatter the Waywatchers and are going to instantly continue their charge on top of this Glade Guard. They were almost broken themselves there, but up to 54 kills. Going to be an absolute menace in this back line. Looks like a lot more Glade Guard do start to break, and some Dryads do shatter completely. Now, unfortunately for Durfu, he does have a massive extended regrowth popped on him. He may be able to out-survive the amount of missile fire coming in, but it's going to be a tall order here. Mirror Guards, looks like they were just tearing up some fools. Need to probably just come over here, take out the Eternal Guard before rallying to the main fight. But a load of Wood Elves are starting to shatter now. Balance power very even. Just good luck, have fun in the chat. For some reason that always pops up late into the game. And Glade Guards doing their best Benny Hill impression here and just running into the trees, outrunning these Chaos Marauders and dragging them away from the main fight. Looks like Durfu does manage to find some Chaos Knights who come in to try and do their best to pin him in. A load of javelins are coming in, but it isn't going to be enough. They're starting to run very, very low on ammunitions here. Mirror Guard are chasing it in as well, trying to surround Durfu, maybe snipe him out, or maybe even get to the spell slinger. She's really not on a horse, so she's going to have a hard time escaping these guys if they do get on top of her. Distance, Chaos Knight's going to be doing some nice charging into Eternal Guard, trying to force those guys off. Don't want to stick in that engagement too long, but a charge might be enough to break these guys. Yeah, looks like these guys, -7, up to 3, -2. Now, these guys are definitely going to be breaking here. Chaos Knight's being used really effectively here by Palpatine, trying to overthrow the king. And finally, it looks like those Glade Guard were caught once again by the Chaos Marauders, and do this time, in fact, start to rout. I don't think they're going to be coming back anytime soon. Durfu also breaks, and it looks like we are going to have a new king. Chosen One not quite able to replicate a move's previous record here. Very well played, but the king does fall there, and a new reign, a new empire is formed by Papa Palpatine. GG. So very well done to Chosen One there. Let's pop on the scoreboard. So he did manage to get 2 wins in a row. But up next we do have the Mighty Baron. So if you want to pop in, dude, you will be the challenger of this new reign. An Emperor has risen, that is true. Now what map should we move on to next? We're still going to be playing for sensible maps for now, and towards the end of the stream we might do 1 or 2 more wacky maps. Let us go for River Maxon, one of my favourite maps, because it's Lizardman themed but equally balanced. Now let's build a Death Star. Oh, if he actually goes for a Death Star build, that'd be very, very cool. Just check my Discord. Look like we're all good for the most part. Yep, seems like we are all good. Oh, I need to upstate Palpatine's victory to 1. Looks like Baron has entered the play. Pick and 2 bands, almighty king. Let's have a little look at chat in this little downtime. Also, lots of people watching. Awesome to see you guys. Let's see what I missed. Is this map really dark? Unfortunately, it looks like it was a little bit. Those Chaos Knights did work though, Ronan. I know what you mean. They did kind of get sniped out early on, but against the Glade Guard, they did so good. It was really good fun. Yeah, Lawstorm did huge work. Going for dinner part map, and you'll return, no worries. If he doesn't get back in time for his game, we will of course just move him down the ladder, which is completely fine. Hope you enjoy your food. Those Chaos Marauders going for a marathon chasing those Glade Guard. That was a long trek. Indeed, but they caught them eventually and forced them off. Looks like Palpatine is going Empire and banning Dowie and Lizardman. Kurlek was Durford, he was, but it was still a very nice win overall, and a new Empire has been formed. But yes, good to see so many people watching. If you have joined partway through, we're currently doing a King of the Hill, so winner stays on. You're trying to get the longest streak possible. The best so far is Chosen One with 2. You're also trying to be the king at the end of the stream. So far we have had the mighty Elhal Cone and Chosen up against each other. Chosen did win that matchup. He then managed to take down Noob for Life in a really nice comeback effort by Noob for Life, though nearly brought it back. And then Papa Palpatine dragged him down. So we have the match now between him and Baron. Up next, we have the mighty A-Move Hacker, of course, the victor of the longest streak in the last stream with 7. Then we have Stormrunner, Park Map if he has returned in time, Consular Rome, Vayash, Flying Man if he gets back to me, but he hasn't, so it looks like he might not be able to play, so it'll probably be Zeus and then Deus. Cool, so on our matchups, it looks like we probably have Empire versus Counts, very thematic here. Should be some good fun. Chaos is the only constant. Or content. Is the only content you want. Just wave upon wave of chaos. Cool. Yep, looks like he is going Counts. Should be some good fun. Yes, and if you guys want to get involved, by the way, in kind of future tournaments, we're probably going to have one on Friday. I'm not sure if that's going to be open to everyone yet, as it may be a Season 2 final, if we can get all the finalists together in time. But if you do want to take part in Future King of the Hills, in streams in general, tournaments, and if you just want to meet a kind of cool group of people, we've got a really nice community formed on my Discord, which is Chat Total War, and also a load of rubbish in between, which is also super fun. There should be a link to my Discord down below. If it doesn't work, let me know, and drop me a message on Discord. Rubber Duck War is my name. And I'll get you invited. But I think it should work. I turned it on to like never run out. But links in YouTube can often be a strange affair, I'm afraid. And until I get up to becoming a partner with YouTube, which I believe is 1,000 subscribers, I easily have the watch time, which is the only frustrating thing. I think you need like 10,000 minutes watch time, and we easily do that every single month by a huge margin. But once you get 1,000 subscribers, I can then drop hyperlinks in the chat, add moderators, all that kind of cool stuff. So we are sort of getting there, which is good. Which is good. Just gonna have a sip of water while we wait in the downtime. So sorry for the squeaky noise of my flask opening. And we'll get this underway. So let's see. What time? So I was replying to a message. Just going to count how many games are before this guy. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So about to send a load of messages, and let's get this game underway. Should be good fun here. This is like an OG matchup from Total War Warhammer 1. Since, the dawn of that game, that mighty day, it has been a huge, change in matchup, but I think it's always been relatively even, which is quite fun to see. Be interesting to see what tactics these guys bring to the table. I'm so excited for Total War Warhammer 3, by the way. I keep on talking about it in my streams, but the announcement has to be soon, right? It's got to be. And I'm just so excited to see what things bring. Total War Warhammer 2, I enjoyed 1 so much, did a ton of campaigns on so much, but this is the game I really got into multiplayer, and obviously started up the YouTube channel and so forth, and it's really grown from there, and so is my kind of love for the game. So, good to see what Total War Warhammer 3 does. Hopefully it's amazing. If it's bad, I will cry. But I don't think Say will let that happen. So, let's have a quick look at the current King's army, Papa Palpatine and his Empire forces. So he's got a large cav contingent, but we'll get to that in a second. For his main line, we have cheap and cheerful swordsmen mixed in with a couple of units of spearmen who I expect will be deployed on the flanks. Nice, cheap, cheerful. You don't need to go too try-hard up against the undead in the infantry game. He has gone very hardcore in the cav game, though. 2 units of the Knights of the Blazing Sun. These guys do fire damage, so extra good against anything which does regeneration, of course. And just decent, kind of mid to high tier shock cav. Very good. We'll obviously struggle up against Blood Knights and so forth, so you need to be a little bit careful. We also have a couple of units of Pistoliers who will do some nice damage. And overall good harass. We have the Silver Bullets, who are the regiment-renowned handgunners, who will very effectively be able to deal with Blood Knights and so forth. They do magic damage. They also have Stalk, so of course the opponent won't know they're there. Now for his leadership corps, we do have 2 heroes, one of which is a Bright Wizard coming in, teleporting all across the battlefield there, which must be one of his magical abilities. We have Cascading Fire Cloak, Flame Sword of Ruin, Burning Head, and Flamestorm with a Power Stone as well. So very hardcore in the magic. We have Volkmar the Grim up on top of his pimp wagon to be rocking that heavy moustache, and Flaming Hammer there. Should be able to run over people very effectively. We also have the Hammer of the Witches, regiment-renowned cannon up on the hill, protected by some spearmen. Knights of Blazing Sun hidden in reserve. So overall super fun and effective army. We also have a Witch Hunter as well. Now, for the Vampire Count in the front line, he's gone cheap and cheerful as well. Skeleton Warriors here. Just all the way along with some Spearmen on either flank. A couple unit of Graveguard in the centre, a bit more hardcore. We have 1 unit of Cane Race, which is quite a nice pick here, actually. Of course, being ethereal and causing terror. Humans not the best in the leadership department. We have a couple of unit of Fellbats as well, be hopping on top of those Silver Bullets when they spot them. Also pretty good for chasing away Pistoliers. We have a Vargulf, a Black Coach, Mortis Engine as well. Not the regiment round one, but still pretty decent overall. We also have Henrik Kemmler, the ultimate meme lord coming here. Well, maybe not as much as Helm and Gorse, but an Invocation of the Heck, Raised Dead, all that good stuff you'd expect. And he's been escorted by a White King for a bit of protection. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. Oh, looks like we have a sneaking of Blood Knights as well in the trees, who are probably going to be trying to hop on top of this cannon. We'll end up in a glorious fight, I'm sure, up against those Knights of the Blazing Sun. Looks like Silver Bullets have been revealed fairly early on, but getting huge damage straight out of the gate onto those Fellbats. Of course, they are just bats, so they won't mind too much, but I'd probably just bring them down and force away the Pistoliers, pushing them back away from more precious targets. And just try and get them out of the battlefield as much as possible. Blood Knights slowly moving for the forest. Looks like they are they still hidden? They are hidden. They might have snuck out a little bit there, though. Knights of the Blazing Sun have been revealed here by the Fellbats, so those Blood Knights know what they're in for now. Looks like a Flame Sword of Ruin has been popped down, adding 25% missile damage to these Pistoliers. Haven't seen that really used in a rage capacity before, so I actually quite like that. Getting huge damage into the Mortis Engine there. So that is really nice play, actually. Bring that guy down quite low. Cannon also getting a lot of shots in as well, but he's getting an Invocation the Heck healed up. Cane Wraith's taking a massive beating as well. Pistoliers now staying out, put some pressure onto the Fellbats as the Skeleton Warriors do start to amass on the front door. Now, these 2 units of Graveguard will be able to mulch through most of this front line forces. It looks like up in the hills, The Felbats have popped in on top of the cannon, trying to shut it down. It is being forced forward. We have Pistolers charging into combat, but Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to meet Blood Knights in glorious combat here. But the Blood Knights should do a decent job here. The question I have is, the hunger gives these guys replenishment, but I don't think that counts as regeneration. I don't think that makes them weak to fire damage, but they are taking a bit of a hammer in here from Knights of the Blazing Sun, so maybe it does. Are these guys weak to fire? I think they are. Let's see. It doesn't say anywhere that they're weak to fire, but they are taking a huge amount of damage. Knights of the Blazing Sun, though, being forced off, so maybe it's just some nice shock damage coming in from Knights of the Blazing Sun. Now, the main engagement is underway. Graveguard will start to mulch through the swordsman, but everywhere else they are starting to struggle a little bit. Morse Engine does put forward with the Black Coach trying to hunt down Volkmer, and a really nice banishment coming in, but it looks like it swings and misses for the most part. It doesn't hang around too much, but still gets some decent damage and doesn't do any friendly fire, and that's what you want a banishment to do, realistically. Volkmar dropping all his buffs here, and the fight in the forests. Blood Knights have managed to push off the Knights of the Blazing Sun for the most part. It looks like, no, they managed to rally. It really needs to finish those guys off, as they are now getting pinned in by Spearmen and Pistoliers. And Flamestorm coming in as well, but once again, looks like it tears through and kind of disappears into the Sweet Night. But the Empire, oh, look how many troops they are holding back just with the unit of Swordsmen and Spearmen, and then getting great value with these big kind of banishment abilities. Knights of Blazing Sun have managed to surround a Varghulf, a perfect target for them. Yes, they are normally anti-infantry, but those fire damage are going to be really helping out. Volkmar the Grim is not going to be allowing that guy to escape, and I think, fortunately, the Varghulf is going to get pinned in there. Looks like the White King trying his best, but a Burning Skull coming down here, tearing apart Graveguard. That is disgusting. Look how many troops it does hit. Also comes through and hits some poor Skeleton Spearmen who've got a really nice rear attack on this flank. Crazy value there, up to 92 kills from that Bright Wizard. Black Coach trying its best in the back line to force off troops. Blood Knights are getting pinged down in the forest by Spearmen and Pistoliers, so those guys may be done. And it looks like the Hammer of Witches has managed to rally, get back online. It looks like some of its cannons are still managing to shoot. Probably going to be trying to target down Henrik now, as he's very squishy, and as you say, takes a cannonball to the face. White King doing a good job trying to hunt down the Witch Hunter, who's doing his best 360 no-scope impression, trying to hunt people down where he can. Volkmar the Grim, though, disintegrating that Varghulf very quickly. Back line, though, is a little bit mixed up. Actually, no, it looks not like too bad going up Palpatine. Silver Bullets now turning to unleash some beautiful silver into this Black Coach, no doubt. But Varghulf trying his best, Invocation of Heck trying to stay active. He's managed to survive a lot longer than I thought he would. And he has popped on top of the Silver Bullets with some zombie help as well. Pistolers shooting all round. Volkmar the Grim dropping some Holy Wrath down upon his enemies. Looks like Krell has been summoned here. And he did do a huge beating on Volkmar, but he is starting to flee from the battlefield now and get out of action as much as possible. Now, where are those Blood Knights? Were they completely killed? That is pretty disastrous, unfortunately. They managed... Oh no, here they are. They are still alive. They really need some healing now. Going to be popping on top of the Hammer of Witches and shutting it down very effectively. Big banishment coming in, helping clear out the Graveguard and just some zombies. Won't do too much damage to the single entities. Knights of the Blazing Sun hunting down a Black Coach. Invocation of Heck trying to keep it active, but I don't know if it's worth it at this stage, as I think they're just going to be able to escape. Saying that, as I say that, looks like he's going to be able to escape and lure those knights back into Krell and the White King. Henrik very beat up though at this point. Volkmar probably can come over for a snipe. Empire now starting to turn quite heavily up in the power of balance. Blood Knights looks like they just chilled out for a little while, but they are going to be hopping on top of the Hammer of Witches. These guys do have the hunger and will be healing up as they do this. In some nice, pretty cool animations there, getting some nice little pokes and beheading some poor crew of Hammer of the Witches. Looks like the Bright Wizards come over to say hello, but these guys could probably just turn around and say hello right back. Nice little core of vampires trying their best to rally. They have managed to pull the balance of power back slightly more even, and they're trying to beat down the Volkmar the best they can, but Grand Shield of Faith getting that huge damage resistance, and Knights of the Blazing Sun coming in, spearing down that Varghulf, but there is still Krell and a White King here, which is going to be really tough to deal with overall. But Henrik looks like he has fallen in the battle. Let's see if I can see him anywhere. Looks like he has unfortunately gone down, so sorry about missing that, but it's tough. It's really tough here. Knights of the Blazing Sun, though, starting to waver a little bit just by the pure swarms of enemies that are around, but Volkmar's Holy Wrath keeping them in line. I think that the balance of power is starting to swing heavily in favour now of the Empire. Krell does disappear as well. White King is really the only threat to Volkmar now. And apart from that, it looks like overall Empire doing pretty good. So yeah, that kind of really bizarre charge into the Blood Knights did not pay out for the Bright Wizard. Maybe allowed to pin these guys in long enough that the Spearmen have got over here. Looks like they are going to be able to drag down those Knights, but the Wizard is forced off, but he does rally on the edge of the battlefield. I recommend he just hangs around in the back line, casting spells and cackling while he can. Volkmar running dirty, nice cycle charges trying to finish off this White King. Probably best now to focus down the Black Coach, that's kind of keeping the balance of power, stopping it from going to army losses at the moment. It looks like everyone does start to break. Army losses does set in a really close fought game there, but Papa Palpatine does hold on to his crown, at least for one more turn. So, really fun, good stuff there. And after this, we do have the mighty A move popping up. This is immediately after Papa versus Chosen. Yes, it was Park Map. They don't have the Hunger ability. What? Blood Knights surely have hunger. They're all vampires. That makes no sense. You probably are correct there. For some reason I thought they would. So let's change the scoreboard while I remember. Palpatine up 1. And we have the mighty A move up next. Flyman Diapers, I'll just reply to you in Discord. It's best of 1. It's caps and attacking roll. I'll read out the list in a second as well so people know where they are positional wise. And let's invite the mighty A move. Looks like he may have gone offline. No. There's no message on Discord. Hopefully he is still around. Where are you on my chat? Oh, dropped a message there. He should give him a couple of minutes to hop on. And while I think about it, we will switch map. Let's go Pillar of Bone and see how this goes. I'll quickly check chat before... actually, I'll go through the list first. So we have Papa Palpatine now up against A-Move Hacker. After that, we have Stormrunner, Park Map, Consul of Rome, Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, and Deus. And those will be the last game of the stream now. Got quite a few people, so I don't want to go on for too long. Let's have a quick check and see what I've missed. Yeah, thanks for the correction, Zeus, they don't have the hunger. That's really bizarre. They're not hungry, like a what? It's really bizarre. I don't know why they don't. They're all vampires. Off some food. Oh, we're back. No run. Worry, Stormrunner. You still have a game in between. But the heck works differently in Total War Warhammer, so maybe it's balancing. Yeah, probably is for a bit of balancing to help out with healing. Of course, healing can affect more people than on tabletop. I don't think it could. Let's see if A-Move has got back to us. He is on the line, so... We can always move him one down the list if he's not here at the second, and just keep playing until he is ready. Don't think he is on the line on Total War. We'll give him a couple of minutes though, as he is actually online still, so... And I know he was in chat earlier as well. Let's see what I miss. Vlad, Manfred, and everyone in the... Slaven across the... I fear no man, Elixir Volkmar, but that thing, it scares me. He is no man. He is a holy icon. Although in end times, I think, doesn't he die in some real unceremonious kind of sucky way? I can't remember exactly. I didn't really focus too much on End Times lore, if I'm being perfectly honest. Pillar Bone though, super cool map. There is it's a very wide and large open map, good for shooty armies in general, but there are some trees for some hiding and sneaky stabbings. Also a few little hills as well, with kind of a death pit down in the middle, which you, if you're not careful, can be sucked into. You don't want to be kind of pulled into an infantry fight, unless that is, what your army is based around, which in case it can do decent work. Oh, looks like Amy. Sorry, I'm signing out. No! So, Stormrunner, get yourself ready to hop in a second. I think a move might not be able to play. So, unfortunately, a move is going to have to drop out by the looks of it. So I'm just going to wait for him to finish sending me a message, and we will try and get Stormrunner in here. Also doesn't appear to be online. I think he was actually, unfortunately, just going for food as well, so we may have to change the order a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like he's going for some food. So, Park Map, if you want to take his place, and then we'll pit Stormrunner back in after you. So it looks like Amy, unfortunately, is going to have to drop out. Cool, so the longest winning king, probably in the history, I think, of this stream, unfortunately can't play, but we will get some new challenges. What's up, Darth Pendragon? How's it going? A move is signing out. My streak is saved. It is for now. Hope you're doing good. So, I think Stormrunner, yeah, currently is grabbing some food quickly. So in the meantime, we will have Park Map. Yo! Great to have Park Map back on the channel. And we will change the name here into Park Map. Cool, so Park Map is up. And then, so the new list will be Park Map, into Stormrunner, Consul of Rome, Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, and Deidus. So still a hefty number of very good players to still come. Once again, another hello there from Palpatine. Pillar of Bone will be the map, and it's still pick and to ban. If Palpatine does indeed win this game, though, he will only have one pick, one ban, to make it a little bit harder to hold on to his crown. Sounds like Volkamar just dying. Oh, yes, we have some backstory. Thank you, Gunda. Let's see. They nailed him to a tower and brought it to the Empire. He survived the whole thing, though. That's pretty impressive. After that, he went berserk on the vampires till the world exploded. I like this. I feel like this is a real... a kind of a win for Empire. I feel like they get crapped on quite a bit, unfortunately. So, Palpatine is going Norska and banning the Dowie and Dark Elves. Dowie in particular, I do not like facing with Norska. I have bad memories of facing Tazoo Devil's Mighty Dowie, and all my forces just crumbling and dying. It was a very sad day for Norskan kind. So, just check my Discord. Looks like we are all good. And back we come. Oh, is he going Empire again? Are we going to see more of the mighty Volkmar, perhaps? Just going to have another sip of water while we wait. So, once again, apologies for the annoying noise. This mic, like, picks up everything. I mean, it's a very good mic. But, that is one of the downsides, unfortunately. A fresh name, fresh meat. Looks like meat is back on the menu, boys. I like to see new players that I've never seen play before. Oh, you haven't seen Parmat play. He has played on the channel a few times before. And we've got a couple of new players coming later on as well. Flying Man hasn't played on the channel, and neither has Vayash either. It's good to get those guys back in here. Park Map is going Bretonia, so we're going to see some heroic Chivalrous Knights, I do indeed hope. Seen a lot of Bretonnia represented, but no lizard men. It's made me very upset, unfortunately. But we were a little bit spoiled with last week's King of the Hill, of course, with Amu's mighty 7-game win streak with lizard men. So I can't complain too much. But as an old one clan, I would like to. Unfortunately, Darth Pendragon, it's probably too late. I'll add you to the bottom of the list, because we have had a move just drop out, so I might be able to do one more, but I will have to check the time and make sure the stream doesn't go on for like, you know, over 3 hours or anything. But I'll add you in. So the current list is Palpatine, the current king, up against Park Map. We then have Stormrunner, Consul of Rome, Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, Deidadus. Then hopefully yourself. But I will have to check time, as I do have a bit of work to do before I head to bed. Plus I need to eat some food, so that good old, you know, that pesky having to eat food situation. Let's check. Everything's all good on Discord and Steam. Yep. Everything is up and running, all good. Let these guys just decide their armies. No worries, Darth Pendragon. We'll try and get you in if we can. We will try our best, but it depends on the time. There's still a few competitors to go yet. But still, it's all good fun. Nice to see so many people watching. Welcome, welcome if you are new to the channel. It's good to see new faces and old faces alike. And yeah, stick around if you like to see Total War content, multiplayer battles, live streams, tournaments. I like getting people involved a lot as well. So a lot of the content you'll see is actually other people playing. If you do want to send me replays, please do join my Discord. Link is just down in the description below. If that link doesn't work, please do let me know, as I haven't actually tried it out yet, or had people try it out. But I believe it does, because I think some random people joined actually in the week, which probably came off my description, I assume. And I'll get you guys involved in the future. Yes, Aerocrastic, Palpatine did beat Chosen One in a real cool underdog display there. Palpatine overthrew the hierarchy and has started to build a new world order. Palpatine also has the perfect zero build, apparently. Although something seems to have gone terribly wrong for him as well. Oh, that was Park Map. I thought they were both saying the same thing, but Park Map is ready, so we'll get underway. And can Palpatine bring his win streak to 3, or will he be halted by Park Map? These guys have played, I believe, before on the channel. I can't remember the outcome though, but I think they're quite evenly matched. How are you doing, Aerocrastic, as well? Good to see you around. So, Pillar of Bone. Hopefully this is going to be a bloody affair, and as I said before, nice open killing pit here in pretty much the centre, just on the kind of like right flank. But there are some hills as well, and trees for sneaky stabbings and all that good stuff. Especially a big clump here. I in fact did once go for a through Death Star build, hiding right here up against Poison Ducky and his vampire counts, which was probably quite infuriating, but it worked really well, and it was some good fun. So both players are loaded in now. So many of the maps have so much cool detail in the background. Really sometimes forget to appreciate just how well made this game is, especially because this map, I believe, is still from Total Warhammer 1, with at least the orcs are represented in a kind of spiritual form, even if we don't see them on the battlefield right here. Looks like the player's just about to load in. Once this little bar pops in the top left, it's normally a good sign. And here we go. So, first of all, we will go through the current King's build, Papa Palpatine and his Norskins. And in the front line, we have cheap and cheerful Marauders for the most part. Oh, looks like he's just applying them all back. So, long line of those guys, mixing with a couple of Marauder Berserkers, including the Brutes of the Hound, who did see in a previous match, unfortunately, get shot to ribbons. But hopefully, they will get in there and do some decent work. We have a fast-moving contingent to his army as well. A couple of units of Marauder Horsemasters who are going to be escorted by looks of it from the Beasts of Tashnar. One of my favourite Norscan units. They catch a lot of people off guard. They see hounds, they chuck light cav to try and push them away. Don't realise these guys actually have anti-large. We have a couple of units of Famir warriors with great weapons, or is one of those the Miststalkers? Where did they teleport to? Yes, in fact, one of them is the Miststalkers in themselves, Regiment Round version. And for Leadership Corps, we have Wolfric the Wanderer on top of his Mighty Mammoth as expected, and a very unfortunate Famir Balefiend with his head in a dangerous position there, coming in with Enfeebling Foe and Pendulum. So overall, really fun, nice build. Looks like the Hounds are sneaking in the back there. Now, for the Bretonnians and Park map in the front line, he has some Spearmen at Arms, born and bred to die at the hands of the Marauders, but they should hold back the enemy for a decent amount of time. We have some Peasant Bowmen in the back line, 3 units in fact overall, should do some consistent damage, and then a large cav contingent, as you'd expect, spread out nicely around his army. You see a lot of players clumping all their cav into one force, trying to use it as a big old smash and a hammer, but sometimes, you know, it's nice to spread out your forces, have a bit of pressure all around. We have Knights of the Realm, Grail Guardians, and another unit Knights of the Realm. Then up in the sky, we do have a Lord and a Henry as well, which is really interesting to see, both up here on their nice hippogriffs. Do we have a spellcaster? We do. Damsel of Life, Regrowth, Earthblood, obviously for those big heroes there, as the forces do start to thunder towards each other. A couple of earlier javelins thrown in by Marauder Horsemasters, but only against peasants. They eat that type of stuff for breakfast. But Wulfric is going to be an absolute nightmare here for these spearmen, as they do just about brace in time, but bam, very Mimikai from Lord of the Rings there, comes on a big old sweep and already up to 3 kills. But the Peasant Bowmen are on launching shell after shell, or I should say arrow after arrow, into Wulfric, trying to start to pin him down. Knights are starting to rally to the peasants as well, as they are getting a bit hammered here overall. Nice crossfire coming in on Wulfric, though, who has found himself in a little bit of a dangerous situation. However, the Peasant Bowmen are being left undefended, and in come the Beasts of Tashnar. They're going to be feasting tonight, and the only thing that's really fast enough to get into the back line to save them is Cav, who don't want to be fighting these guys, as they are anti-large, as we said before. And the Norscans are hammering through this front line. Grail Guardians being forced into the front line to deal with Marauders, which of course they can do fairly effectively. The Lord does pop all his buffs, those sort of anti-heroes, and with Henri, who does have Hunter Champions popped on him right now, and Enfeebling Foe, they go for the snipe on Wulfric, and they're doing it fairly effective. Archers are starting to be taken offline here, though. These Grail Guardians don't even think about it, don't go for the Beast Slash now that they do fall back. This is a much better bet here, using Peasant Bowmen to try and finish these guys off as much as possible. We do have a Pendulum coming down on top of these Peasant Bowmen, and unfortunately, Parkmap not quite quick enough to react there. Those guys take huge losses there in the back line. Henri does get a nice regrowth popped on him, and the Wulfric is really starting to struggle here. He cannot escape, pinned in by Knights of the Realm. He could be dragged here down here and allow the Bretonnians a nice way into the game, as their main infantry line has completely crumpled, as you can see, being forced off. Peasant Bowmen as well, but they should manage to rally, do some decent damage to smaller berserkers and so forth. Where are the Beasts of Tashnar, though? These guys are going to be really key to this battle. Looks like they have been forced off by sheer weight of numbers, and now those guys have gone, the Bretonnians can really try and get into their fast hit and run tactics. Wulfric does, in fact, is slain by some Knights of the Realm victoriously. They're going to carry on their charge, it looks like, onto some Marauder Horsemasters there and force those guys off. And with that balanced power, still, though, in favour of the Norscans, they took down Wulfric, but it's such a heavy loss to themselves. But once again, going for a bit of a character snipe, trying to take down the Familiar Balefiend with the Lord and Henri. Then taking down these two Terracausan units there can do some really good late game pressure on the rest of this Norscan army. Looks like the damsel has been caught, unfortunately, by some familiar warriors who were clubbing her to death. She tries a little jump, a little yelp out there and gets a little hack in, but unfortunately she'll be dragged down by these very cruel and evil familiar warriors. Do you have some Grail Knights, or Grail Guardians, sorry, trying to rally to her and actually keep her in the fight a little bit, popping on top of the Miststalkers, but it's going to be a bit of a struggle. These guys are anti-infantry, not anti-large. And Grail Knights, though, clearing up the back line, routing off some Marauders, and these Brutes of the Hound won't stand too much chance. Nice rallying Peasant Bowmen have come back to the fray, and they're getting some decent arrow fire on the Brutes of the Hound as well. In the back line, we do have some Lord Berserkers chasing off some Peasant Bowmen. Nice diligent play there. But again, they are being dragged away from the battlefield, and they really needed the point, as this is quite a key moment in the battle, I feel. As the Familiar Balefiend does start to rout, it's probably worth taking either Henri or the Lord and just forcing off Balefiend, but he does in fact completely shatter them. With that, the balanced power goes in favour for the first time in the game of the Bretonnians. And now these Marauder Horsemen are in trouble, of course. The Flying Lords are going to be great at hunting them down. Knights of the Realm forcing off a second unit as well, who are getting a little bit stuck on some routing Knights of the Realm, unfortunately for them. They are going to start to lose a few models. There are still two very healthy familiar warriors, including the Miststalkers there. But apart from that, these marauders can definitely be cleared up by effective charging from the cav. Peasant bowmen doing what they do best, just hurling wave after wave of arrow into cheap and cheerful targets. We're going to get a nice rear attack as well by Grell Guardians into the back here. Probably going to be enough to break these marauders you'd expect. They do start to wave as they come in. Brutes the Hound left in the dirt a little bit, but Miststalkers may be able to hear and rally, trying to get on top of these Grell Guardians. And the Peasant Bowmen really just need to start focusing these guys down, which is going to be terribly slow and grindy. But try and pin them in with Spearmen and so forth might work. And Damsel Life survives, which is huge right now. Can get off some big heals. And it looks like she's been doing that as the Lord has healed up quite a bit. And Henri, full health, although you can see his healing cap there. Grell Guardians looks like did manage to catch some Lord of Horsemasters who have been completely shattered, so they need to come back to the fray. Just use this very beat up unit to hunt down routing marauders and force them away from the battlefield where possible. I think the Bretonnians most likely have this now. It looks like they are resting up a little bit, but you don't want to get these allow the Marauder Berserkers back into the fray. You need to rally these Peasant Bowmen and try and take those guys out quickly as possible. I mean, a big Alpha Strike is probably the best way to go here to try and break the Familiar Warriors, as these guys, of course, are anti-large and armor sundering, so they can do very good work against Henri, all the Knights and the Lord. But if you charge them multiple angles all at the same time, should be able to break their leadership and do some decent damage. Of course, those are very accurate Peasant Bowmen. I'm sure we'll not get any friendly fire and we'll be able to take down the beasts themselves. In comes the Lord, pops all his buffs, Sword of Anti-Heroes, the Onslaught, all that good stuff. And he's going to do some massive damage here overall. Grell Guardians all popped in as well to stand your ground. Massive charge from all angles, trying to finish the battle before the Marauder Berserkers can get in and help out their friends. But the Familiar, they're standing strong for now. Leadership is starting to go down, starting to waver a little bit. But at the same time, the Berserkers have arrived. Grell Guardians rallying though, charging out to meet them and trying desperately to keep them away from these Familiar. Looks like one unit has started to get terrified now. Take this beat up unit of Grell Guardians, chase and force them off. But no, they do rally. Looks like the Lord, though, coming in to try and finish them off while they are isolated. Straight big old kitty cat claw swipe there. Does in fact take out, oh no, just one. The other one does get back up to his feet. But still, really nice work. And now has officially started to round the Familiar here, forcing them off. And with Henri so healthy and the Lord so healthy, I think a new king is about to be crowned. Looks like they were just saying good luck, have fun. Nice Earthblood as well, keeping the Grell Guardians active, tearing apart the brutes of the Hounds. I mean, the Norskins are still fighting to the death here, but Familiar Warriors, there's no way he's going to let those guys come back to the battlefield. And now we have Peasant Bowmen getting some nice rear attacks into the Marauder Berserkers, who are going to start to struggle. Up in the high ground, another unit has managed to find some Peasant Bowmen, just about managed to get into combat before breaking. Some Grell Guardians could move out over there and finish those guys off. Now, where is... yeah, he is definitely chasing them off with the Lord, or with Henri there. Really nice play. And now, yeah, I like this play. Bring the Lord over here. Kind of collapse on this flank, pull apart the Norskins, leave the ones in the pocket. There's no need to fight them. They will break from army losses. And there we go. We just have the unbreakable brutes of the Hound now. Down to just 3 models here who are going to meet the new King's Justice. Which is always good to see. Super fun build overall. 108 kills on top of these brave Grell Guardians, doing some decent damage, getting great value as well with those regrowths and Earthbloods on top of the Lords. Poor Wulfric there getting sniped out very effectively, tried his best and tanked for a long time. But overall, this was a very good game. And a king emerges, so let's change the scoreboards around. Par map up to 1, so the king has fallen. Once again, getting 2 wins, much like Chosen One as well, and Stormrunner is up next. Let's check Discord quick, because I do have a little message. That's all good. Just Flying Dutchman there saying he's a bit of a new player, but that is completely fine. We like seeing a mixture of new and old players. I just couldn't finish the caster, unfortunately not. So, let us see if Stormrunner is online. Hopefully he is. I'll just pop into my Discord. If anyone does want to get involved in my Discord, there is a link in the description just down below. And where are you, Stormrunner? You are up. Let's see if he's online. Looks like not yet. We'll give him a couple of minutes. Make sure he's back from his food. And I'll quickly check chat and catch up with you guys. tuning in from work currently. Yes, that's the best thing to do on work, personally. In my personal opinion, is to hop on and watch some Total War. Nice to have you here, dude. Not the dreaded trees. Vietnam flashbacks, Poison Ducky. Cartoon Empire, nice to see you, man. Hope you're doing good. Great poop in position. Where are the skin wolves? Classic Warhound play nice. Really nice Warhound play against the back line, but they were forced off and just shut down by mass amounts of cav in one go, which is nice to see. Skinwolves, one of my favourite units, by the way, thematically for the Norscan, so I would have liked to see a few of those guys. But of course, Knights, well, they're decent against a lot of the Knights, but the anti-large ones obviously kind of go straight back. But I like Skinwolves in most matchups, personally. So let's give Stormrunner a couple of minutes. I don't think he's popped on the chat since he said he was off to get dinner, so we may have to move him down the order one, and that means Consul of Rome would be up next. Followed by, so we have Stormrunner, Consul of Rome, Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, Daedus, and hopefully Darth Pendragon, depends on time. If anyone could let me know how long the stream's been going on for, that would be perfect. It would be good to see. Oh no, Park Map, where have you gone? I know he's been having problems with his internet recently. So, next we will do Mirror Woods. It's a good fun map. We may have to restart the lobby just to get Park Map back in, but it should be good fun. We didn't really have any lag in that game, which was nice. Which is always a good thing. Let's pop in, make sure he hasn't messaged me saying he's got to leave or anything. Oh, he has hopped offline, so he's probably just rebooting his game, which is fine. And he's back. So Stormrunner isn't currently here by the looks of it. So we will move him down the list. We want to keep this moving relatively quickly. Oh, it says he's playing Total Warhammer now. So he might be hopping in. We'll give him a couple more minutes. And if not, Consul Rome, I hope you are ready. Cool, looks like he's back. No worries. So if you guys do want to be featured on the channel in any way, you can feel free to send me replays and join my Discord and let me know if you want to take part in competitions such as this one. They're always good fun, and new players always welcome as well. I love having new players in. Oftentimes you'll see a lot of kind of wild tactics, which can actually catch a lot of the kind of more experienced veteran players off guard. So never, don't be too scared to come in and competing up against some of the big guns. Good news is we upgraded my internet soon. Yes, which is good. Very, very good. Just send him a quick message. Making sure he doesn't need any more time to eat or anything, in which case we will just simply move on. What's up, Gotama? Hope you're doing all good. We're just in between games right now, but this is a King of the Hill. We've had multiple kings so far. Chosen One went on a 2-game win streak, so did Papa Palpatine. And we have a new king in Park Map, so we'll see if he can carry on the tradition. And we have a few cool players pulling up after this as well. Cool, so I'm going to invite Consul of Rome and we'll move Stormrunner down a peg. Because, let's see, I can't see him on here. No, so I'm going to pop in Consul of Rome. We'll try and get Stormrunner in afterwards if he is back from Eton at that point. I'll send Consul a message quick. Just a sec. Cool. Looks like Consul Rome is going to be hopping on in just a second here. In the meantime, I'm going to have a quick sip. If you guys do have any questions, now is the perfect time to ask them in this kind of little bit of downtime. Ooh. But yeah, nice to see so many new faces and kind of old faces popping up and supporting this type of stream. The channel's grown quite a lot recently, actually. It's really nice to see. Almost at 200 subscribers now. I believe when we started the stream we were at 190, not sure what we're on now, but every stream we kind of get a couple more trickle in. As I can see now, Constant Home, it just Steam has informed me, has just popped on Total War Warhammer 2. Should be pretty good. So after him we do have Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, Stadeus, and hopefully Stormrunner as well in there as well, and maybe even Darth Pendragon if we have time. But I do have to eat and do a little tiny bit more editing of some writing work I was doing today before I go to sleep, really, because I'm busy all day tomorrow, unfortunately. But Friday we will be back streaming, which is probably going to be a Death Before Dishonor. Might be the Season 2 finale, if we can get all the players together, which would be Flying Taco, Chosen One, Noob for Life, and Zeus, I believe. And if not, we will just carry on the Season 3 with the previous 2 champions so far being E-Move and Flying Taco. It should be good fun. Oh, I'm getting messages on Steam. No, that was just him saying just a sec, no worries. If you can't find the lobby, I will simply add him in. Just make sure Stormrunner's not here either. Nah. Hopefully he can come back and make it into the tournament though. Be good to have Stormrunner playing. He's played on the channel quite a lot before. But we are going to have to keep it moving, obviously, as much as possible. So, yes. Hope you guys are enjoying so far. And I've had good days as well. I know we've got people watching from all around the world. So, right over here in England, it's actually coming up to 8:30. So, we kind of had most of our day, but I know a lot of people kind of middle of the workday, early mornings, all that kind of stuff. Hey, Constant Home has arrived. Welcome, welcome. So it is Park Map Picks and Bans. Oh, I'll call him the King. Gave us a shoot name. And we'll be playing on Mirror Woods, which is a really cool map. Not as much woodlands as you would expect from a map called Mirror Woods, but lots of hills, lots of woods, and a huge amount of Vanguard deployment you can do. The kind of deployments are actually quite a bit closer together than they originally look on this type of format. And in the back line, you can do a ton of Vanguard deployments, which is really good to see. So Park Map is banning Counts and Norsk, and going Beastmen. Nice to see Beastmen represented here. Been watching some really good games on Darv Plays channel of Beastmen recently, and it's nice seeing them in a competitive setting. Of course, my King of the Hills are open kind of for all players, so aren't particularly competitive. Well, they are, but at the same time, it's all for good fun, so fair play and all that is a priority. I usually have problems with streams because of the family life, but I do like to watch the uploads when things calm down. Yeah, man, like the streams will all get uploaded naturally by YouTube anyway. Tim for Rohan, yes indeed. You would have loved a build I took the other day in a tournament. It was a full cav build. It was high elves, I had dragon princes coming out of my butt, Lyran Reavers, silver helms, I had everything. It was awesome. Plus a dragon, but if you ignore that, it was basically like Rohan. For those who don't know, Tim is actually a secret Total War player amongst the community. But goes under disguise into my streams and so forth. I think he's retired from Total War, but he was quite a big player back in the day. I think still plays a bit, but yeah. But yeah, so say hi to him, let him feel welcome. So the guys are just signing their matchups now, or they're signing their matchups, just building their armies. This matchup, it could be pretty tough for the Beastmen. A lot of their troops can get run over just by sheer amounts of cav coming in from the Bretonnians. And they also have kind of the cheap and cheerful infantry, which can go toe-to-toe with a lot of the Beastmen. But at the same time, you have to be a little careful. Minotaurs are pretty good in this matchup if you don't have the anti-large knights. But at the same time, Cygors I can see being very effective, especially if you use spam summons. Get the Ive Morslib, summon some Cygors, some Manticores, and just hurl boulders at those brave knights and turn them into squishy little blobs before they actually engage in the front line, and you can slowly swarm and drag them down from their saddles. Yeet yeet. Is that your main tactic, Tim? Do you just like to yeet towards the enemy? I like how you put it in brackets, Stormrunner. Welcome back, by the way. You were up, but we switched the order around just to keep things going, so you will be in the next game Stormrunner instead of this one. Which should be good to see. Who is your money on? Do you think Park Map, the newly crowned king, can hold onto his throne, or Consul of Rome bring back the mighty empire and dominate the rest of the stream? We've got some real tough competitors for them to do that up against next, though. So we have Stormrunner, Vyash, Flying Man, Zeus, and Daedalus. And maybe Darth Pendragon, but I think we're going to run out of time, unfortunately. Looks like Park Map is ready. Just going to check Discord as I have gained a couple of messages. Cool. Just Stormrunner saying he was back, but no worries, bro. We'll get you into the next one. No problem. So just waiting on Consul of Rome to form his army. Consul of Rome, a very good defensive player, and something a lot of new players tend to struggle with is they always go defensive. But it takes an incredible amount of micro to actually work, to kind of play defensively well. A lot of people think, oh, I don't have to move my troops around so much, I have to flank the enemy, I just sit in a box and shoot people. But against the top tier players, they will find little nooks and crannies, sneak into your back line, and it's so hard to protect your squishy archers. You can often find yourself completely destroyed in the early stages of the battle. Oh no, looks like Park Map has been kicked. So try and get him back in one more time, but if you can't, we will have to move on. As he said, his internet was struggling a bit, but both their armies are built, so once again we should get going. But Consul Rome is a good example of a skillful player playing defensively, like his High Elves and Empire and so forth, and how to micro that effectively and get the best out of your forces. Oh, it looks like they've both been kicked. Hopefully it is not me. I think I'm still online. I seem to be fine. Cool, Park Map is in, so we're trying to get the other one back in now. So it looks like I'm doing all fine. There we go. Oh, let's get this started. So sorry about the gap between games. This happens sometimes when trying to organise this with players from all across the world and whatnot. No, why is it not starting? No, what are you doing, Total War? Give it a couple of seconds. We might have to restart the lobby, I think. You politely call it defensive, but you mean passive. Yes, that is a huge difference there, David. Very well pointed out. So, what I'm saying is defensive. Yeah, newer players tend to be quite passive. Take a defensive stance and then kind of just let the battle happen rather than actually managing their troops effectively, which is understandable. It happens. There's a lot of stuff going on, especially for new players, and it feels like a better way to play it. But that, yeah, I like that analogy, though. Not analogy, but way of putting it out. Yes, exactly what you just said there. But like focus firing people down, correctly defending your backline, plugging in gaps, using cav defensively is a huge deal as well. A lot of new players don't do anywhere enough of, in my opinion. Or players in general, a lot of people use them to kind of swoop around the flanks, get into that back line, but you can also use them to protect your own. They're swift, they can counter quickly. Anyway, we are on to Mirror Woods with a lovely rainbow in the background there, giving you a nice warm, fuzzy feeling in your tummy before the battle does unfold. So as I said before, decent amount of trees and kind of coverage. Also some hills as well in both deployment zones, but at the same time enough open land, which is, you know, makes it good to cast because I can actually see what's going on. And at the same time, gun lines can still work. You can deploy up on this hill in the background as well. So both the players are just loading in now. Little lucky bar has popped into the top left. And we should be good. So let's go through Park Map and the current King's forces. I really like some of the picks I see already. So for the front line we have Ungor Spearherds, cheap and cheerful chaff, mixed in with Gore Herds as well. A little bit more tanky, should be able to tear apart peasants and so forth a little bit more effectively. We have, oh no, we have a bit of lag as well. So I think Park Map's internet may be failing slightly, but it looks like it might be back. Hopefully we'll see how it goes as battles progress. We have a couple of units of Centaurs as well, nice swift cav, and then this is the pick I really like. No, Park Map, the king! So we may have to move on without Park Map now, I'm afraid, because time is getting on, the stream's been going for quite a while anyway. I know he does have quite a lot of internet issues and he has been pushed out there, so I think, unfortunately, we might have to move on I'll send him a message and see how his internet's going. Must have few messages. Park map got kicked. Give me a sec. So bear with, guys. Sorry for this big delay in between this game and the last game. Yeah, so he says he understands, so it's fine. So Stormrunner, you are up if you'd like to hop in, please. Password is 123, and we'll try and get us underway as quick as possible. We will do a gentleman's agreement, as there is currently no king. As a new player, it often happens to me too. You're absolutely right. That is, it's part of learning the game, man. It is part of learning the game. Unfortunately, it did explode a little bit, Stormrunner, there, so we're going to be getting you in and moving on. So the new list will be Stormrunner versus Consul. They will then have Vayash, Flying Man, Zeus, and Daedalus. It should be pretty damn good fun. Thank you guys for bearing with. The undefeated king. So Park Map is in fact our first ever undefeated king, I suppose, never having lost a game on stream, which is nice. But we will get Stormrunner in now. Which is all good. I'll send him a message as well, just to get him to be here as swift as possible. And I will recorrect the scoreboard. So we have 0 kings at the moment. Oh, I just realised we had Papa P on there as well anyway, so good thing that I can reset it now anyway. So we have Consul. Yep, take up Papa P. And we're going to have Stormrunner. So I'll let Consul know. Oh, misspelling, but he understands what I mean there. And welcome back. Do you guys want gents or pick and ban? Actually, I'll do it all blind. So it did explode. Unfortunately, it did a little bit there. He got kicked for internet issues, yeah. Yeah, there's not so much you can do about it. Palmer's played on the channel a load, and it's been fine. Occasionally it's not, but that just happens with internet when connecting with people blind. Cool. So they're going to be going for blind pick, so both send me the faction they want to play, and they will come up against each other, which can be really fun. You get some pretty wild and wacky picks. No dude, it's blind picks. As there is no current king. So... okay, so Consul Rome wants to go with Bretonia and Stormrunner Tomb Kings. Brett versus Tomb Kings it is. Not a matchup I've seen terribly often, actually, at all. There should be some pretty good fun. Luca, unfortunately, there is no seats left, my friend. We've got quite a long list of players still to go, and we have been running for about 2 hours now, so we're going to try and make it about 3 hours, but we will try and catch you in the next one, which really sucks, because you are the original king of the first King of the Hill, I believe. We will try and get in the next one. There was always one. I try and host these once a week so we can get as many people in as possible. Which should be all good. So give these guys a little bit of time to pay their armies. Let's check everything's all good on Discord and so forth. Yeah, we're all fine. Ooh. And we just chill out and chat. You're back. Hello. When did you last leave, Daniel? We've unfortunately had quite a big gap. We've had some technical issues and so forth between the last game, so it's been a little bit slow. But apart from that, it's been all good. And we've seen some really good games. So I wonder what you've missed. We have 0 kings at the moment, so unfortunately Park Map with the current king we've had some connection issues, so he has dropped out for now. And we've got Stormrunner vs Consul of Rome with blind picks. We have got Tomb Kings versus Bretonia. If anyone in chat knows who this matchup favours, do let me know. I don't really play either of these factions that heavily, so I've never really fought in this matchup, so should be good. In the first bit, well, the first one. So did you not win the first one? Was it the second one you won? But yes, for those who don't know, Luca is Traore, who did very successful on King of the Hill, trying to get him back into some others soon as well. But he got a crazy win streak and did really decent. Cool, looks like we're all good. Whoa. Gonna have another sip while we wait. They missed 2 games. Trying to think who's played. So Park Map overthrew Papa Palpatine in some very good games. You think this is bad for the Bretonians? Yeah, there's a lot of cheap anti-large you can bring. Sneaky Snakes do a lot of work as well. And your Shopley Greatbow is just so good at killing Grail Knights. But we will see. So no one yet has got a longer streak than 2 wins, I do not believe. Chosen One getting 2 wins, and Papa P himself. Part Map was on the 1. So we'll see. Tomb King's constructs are hard for Brett to deal with, but Fane, Gotrek and Felix are hard to deal with Tomb Kings. That is true. I think Gotrek definitely gives the Bretonians so many better tools up against people like Lizard Men as well. Looks like Consul of Rome is ready. And we'll get this started as soon as possible. Looks like they're good to go. So let's hop in. And without further ado, let's get this ball rolling again. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, wait. Looks like maybe he wants to change something super quickly. We will see. Any questions? Feel free to ask now. During this kind of downtime is the best time to do it. There we go. Looks like he was maybe just changing 1 or 2 last little bits. Tomb King Generals are very expensive and enjoy the worst healing options in existence. That is true. The problem is someone like Gotrek and Felix, though, you can just dodge them. They're pretty slow. I know one, like, Felix is slightly faster, but if you're on a chariot or a horse or even a big old kitty cat, which the Tomb Kings often are, it's a bit of a nightmare to actually catch them with those type of guys. Just ignore them and leave them to the end. Break off Felix and then hunt down Gotrek, really, in swarms of kind of pointy sticks here. So, same map as previously described, and we will get in underway again. This kingless duel here. Let's go through the mighty Tomb Kings. So, we do have some Nekakar horsemen being assisted here by some... where have they gone? Over here. Okay, we'll go for the main army first. That's pretty simple. So we have a load of skeleton spearmen, cheap and cheerful chaff, just there to hold the line while the rest of the army actually does the damage. Couple units of Nekakar horsemen as well for nice harass, and also probably getting on the back line on top of those pesky peasant bowmen. We have some Ushopti, the combat variety. Nice to see these guys get some action. And also we have some of the knights with halberds. 2 units of the sneaky snakes indeed. These guys are anti-large, poison damage, perfect for taking down big nasty monsters. And look how cool they're. Looks like a skeleton surfboarding on the back of a snake. What's not to love? We do have a Hero Titan as well, made very popular by Aerocrastic, I believe. Well, I think it was it Flying Taco who was saying the other day he was one who suggested it? I'm not sure, but a guy who used to be a bit of a meme, but he's getting a lot of action recently and doing very well for himself. We also have a bit of a leadership core between a Necrotect on a chariot and Arkan the Black, who seems to be the most popular choice at the moment. Spirit Leech, Fate of Buna, all that good stuff. So that is it, I believe, for the majority of the Tomb King's forces. Over to the filthy waves of peasants now. We have, of course, the heroic backbone of the Bretonian army, the peasant mobs here who are currently being deleted as I go along them, but as you expect, that's probably going to happen in the battle as well. We then have some battle pilgrims mixed in as well, with some foot squires for the main actual battle line. And they are going to be protecting a field trebuchet. No blessed field trebuchet, just the basic one. But we do have a ton of peasant bowmen with fire arrows, 3 units in fact, who will do some decent long-range damage. And as expected by the Bretonians, huge Rohan Cav Corps here. We have Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm, and another unit of Knights of the Realm, all anti-large, will do very well against that Titan, the Shopti, the enemy Cav, Archon, all of those good forces. And for a leadership corps, we do have a Paladin on horse, protecting the Fey Enchantress with Earthblood, Regrowth, I always forget the name of this one, Awakening the Wood as well. She has, of course, favoured the Fey and Arcane Conduit. So overall, pretty even matchup so far. Balance power is actually in favour of the Bretonians here. You don't often hear that said at the start of the battlefield. And should be pretty interesting. The Cav is going to be a nightmare to deal with. Yes, the Sneaky Snakes have bonus versus large with their range attacks, I believe, is where they get the big bonus versus large. But if they get caught by the Knights, they will get torn apart fairly effectively. Looks like they're escorting some Nekaka horsemen for now. So maybe together they could overwhelm the Bretonian Cav. As you can see, all of those Knights hiding in this tiny clump of trees. You think you'd be able to spot them through like the neighing of the horses and so forth, but we will get this underway. Who is your money on? Who will become the new king? Should be very interesting. Looks like a little bit more of a deployment coming in from Consul of Rome, trying to get his army just right. Looks like some of the Cav has actually been pulled back into a bit of a reserve formation instead, and the Hero Corps replacing them on that right-hand flank for the added punch. Quite likely leaving some of the Cav back. And it's what I spoke about before. Using Cav defensively here doesn't have to whip everything around one flank. Using them to protect the peasant bowmen when the opponent does pop on them, which he will have to. Otherwise, these guys will just amount huge value. That's when you come swooping in with the Knights of the Realm to protect them and do some decent damage. Looks like Stormrunner is good to go. And his main battle plan here is going to be to rush. He hasn't brought you Shopti bows, which is quite interesting. Instead of going with the regular ones, and a ton of skeleton spearmen can be pushing forwards and trying to grind out that big old chaff fight in the front line. Really interested to see how the Titan fares here. A ton of Cav that are great at taking them down, but at the same time comes in with a Spiritual Leech and a Gaze. Oh, the Shems of Burning Gaze, which is nice to see. So that Spirit Leech pops on top of Archon, the Black Spirit Leech. Could do some really good sniping on the Fey Enchantress as well, but she has so many healing options. Cool, looks like they're both ready to get going. And we will see lovely cinematic rainbow over the hills there as the battle is about to get started. Who is your money on? I feel like the peasant mobs are going to carry this personally. Just look at their heroic cheers as they lift their shovels in glorious defiance of the undead. It'll be interesting to see if any of them actually manage to get a single kill. Against spearmen, they should do a little bit of work. And here we go, the battle is underway, and the field trebuchet is going to roar into action here. As you can see, it is launching some shots up and over into the enemy territory. And who is it going to be aimed at? Nope, is it they firing at? Looks like they're just loading up, and in they go. First launch of gigantic rocks floating towards the skeleton spearmen here, and boom! Really inaccurate, as you would expect from some peasants, and all of those rocks do miss. But at least it is forcing his opponent in as well. But the Bretons, not one to sit idle, are advancing as well towards the enemy. It's always nice to get a bit of distance actually between yourself and your back line. Sometimes it's harder to protect that way. If he's got the Cav in the back line, it's not too bad. And it stops your opponent just breaking through the front line and instantly getting onto your ranged troops, right? So Trebuchet now making a bit of headway, getting some 9 kills up on top of the skeleton spearmen on this high flank. And the Knights of the Realm are pushing through the trees now. They don't know there's an ambush awaiting them in the trees themselves. Knights of the Realm going to go for some frontal charges by the looks of it. Oh no, maybe they're just rallying up and staring down their opponents for now. Knights of the Realm are rallying out from the trees, trying to get some hits on the skeleton spearmen. This one unit could be isolated here. Out come the Knights, out come the Halberds as well. And they're going to swarm these brave men of Bretonia, who quickly react here. Really nice play here. The Consul of Rome bringing these guys back. They're taking quite a lot of damage here. A lot of their numbers getting pulled apart and isolated up here on the high ground. They did do some damage to some skeleton spearmen, but not really enough to pay for this. They are getting caught again. Looks like more Knights of Rome are going to have to countercharge as well to try and help. And Battle Pilgrim's going to get on top. This is a really important engagement over on the right-hand flank. Everywhere else, the fire arrows are starting to be unleashed onto this main core. Knights of the Realm blitzing their way in, going balls deep here with Alariel, or not Alariel, so the Fey Enchantress on top of this Hero Titan, and leadership core, trying to do some decent damage. And we do have a big, fat Faded Buna coming down on Knights of the Realm. So, looks like Bretonians are starting to buckle. Well, the peasants are starting to buckle, but everywhere else is going okay for now. Knights of the Realm, extended Earthblood, trying to keep them in this very key fight, but I don't know if this is where they want to be for now. We do, though, have some supporting fire, some peasant bowmen coming in. The brave peasant mobs did get 0 kills before they routed off that time. And these Necropolis Knights of Halberds doing huge work, dragging down the Knights Realm and forcing them off for now. Look at the carnage they've managed to cause. And this big old overload has worked very effectively here, but Peasant Bowmen still on fire. Nice summon in the back line of Skeleton Warriors by Stormrunner to shut down the Field Trebuchet. These Spearmen at Arms need to get back into action. So, Fey Enchantress, Spirit Leech has popped on her, but they have managed to circle around Archon here. We do have some Knights of the Realm who are perfect for this matchup. Paladin as well. Should be able to drag him down, which would get the magic off the field as well, and maybe claw the Bretonians back into this game. They are struggling on multiple fronts for the most point. Big Titan doing its work, tearing apart Foot Squads. 1 unit of Knights of the Realm is not enough here to swing that tide in favour of the Bretonia. Ton of fire coming in from the Peasant Bowmen though. We do have a lot of Knights rallying. Looks like they turned around, rallied some peasants, and they're coming back to the fray. Balance of power still very even, but this is a huge turning point here. If Archon the Black does go down here, that is a huge loss. Staff and the Gash popped out as well, but he is not where he wants to be right now. It looks like the fast-moving core is trying to get through, but they're currently feasting on Knights of the Realm and Peasant Bowmen, which is equally really nice picks. Knights of the Realm flooding in, trying to keep this big blob at bay long enough for them to tear down Archon. 1,000 health left, going down rapidly as well here. 900 health, and he's lost his summon help as well. Lord of the Tones just being left in the front line where they may have won their engagement, but the Tomb Kings don't care about that. They're just going to lap around and force away into the back line, hop on top of these poor peasants who are getting slaughtered wherever we look here, and there is still an incredibly healthy Titan as well. The Shopsy forcing their way into the back line, doing a decent job of cutting down the Fey Enchantress, or trying their best, and forcing these Peasant Bowmen into a bit of a retreat. Now Archon survives for now. This is huge, and all the Knights have managed to rally, forcing off this Paladin, but no, Archon goes down. Peasant mobs running in to save the heroic Paladin, chucking their lives on the line. They're just there to die and let his glorious highness here ride off into the sunset. So huge loss there, as most of the magic is now gone. Of course, we still have the Hero Titan as well, and the Necrotect, but Necrotech is now being sniped out as well. So Constellation trying his best to snipe out characters, which is a really good play, as it lowers their leadership of the rest of their forces. But all of these Knights with the Titan are going to be a nightmare to deal with. It looks like most of the kind of chivalrous Knights of the Bretonians have been forced off. And down goes the Paladin as well, being routed off the battlefield. These Knights doing so much work here, tearing that guy apart. But if they don't chase him, he will rally and come back later. Yeah, it's a good play. Take the Necrotect, who's fairly beaten up anyway, and just force him off, chase him all the way off the battlefield. It will 100% be worth it. There are some Knights of the Realm who could rally to his cause there, try and pop in there, slow down that Necrotect, and allow him to rally. So we have a load of fire coming from the Peasant Bowmen, trying to take down this fast-moving core of the Tomb King's forces. And this Titan, only 21 kills so far, but there is not much left to deal damage to it and bring it to its knees. So let's see. Is this going to play out as we expect? No, Knights of the Realm are in fact shattered by the sheer sight of the Necrotect, who's doing a really good job, going to be chasing this Paladin off, and there's no way he can get enough space now between him and the Necrotect. So the leadership of the Bretonians has completely broken, apart from the Fey Enchantress there, who is currently going toe-to-toe with Titan, not where she wants to be. She is of course up on her horse as well to these nasty halberds that are doing massive damage to her. She can't seem to manage to escape here. Where's she gone? There she is. And it looks like we do have a showing of Ushopti as well, turning that power balance even more in the favour of the Tomb Kings. Although it's still fairly even, but they are managing to trap in poor Fey Enchantress, who's really struggling to escape at this point. She needs to get out of there, allow the Peasant fire, which we now have fire from both sides, which is really nice play by Consul, to drag down that Titan, do that consistent damage, also pull down the Knights. So it looks like they managed to shatter off some Knights of the Realm, but themselves are taking quite a large beating. Of course, these Ushopti are summoned, so they will start to dissipate as well. These Peasant Bowmen really need to be shut down by the Tomb Kings, but they don't really have the tools to do so anymore. Necrotect now going to go toe-to-tail against some more Knights of the Realm who have started to rally over here. And he should be fine and able to break them off. They're starting to waver, but if they get stuck in the engagement for too long, This brave band of 9 Knights of the Realm could drag down the Necrotech debt here, down to 82 health, 60 health. They're almost breaking 0 leadership themselves, but they bring him down. Really nice play there, destroying the leadership of the Tomb Kings, and I think that is going to be game. There's just too many peasant bowmen and too many angles getting fire in. The Titan starting to waver as well. And this has been a really close game. But Consul Rome, GG's coming from the chat here. Looks like Consul Rome is going to be able to carry this out, I think. These Ushopti, of course, will dissipate in a second. Looks like the field trebuchet may have been shattered, but at this point it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really have any good targets. The Ushopti go down, and with that, as you see, the balance power is hugely in favour now of the Bretonnians. Flame Charge is just duking the best she can, trying to get away from that Titan and any of his nasty spells. As you can see, the constant fire coming in from both sides. A big old Earth Blood as well to keep these brave peasants fighting. So have carried the day. The Knights of the Realm did decent damage, but a lot of them got destroyed early on. And it's the brave peasants who shall drag this through for Britannia. Now, is there anything that could come back? Lots of shattered troops, but yeah, looks like what you see is what you get. Titan trying its best, and it is really good up against all of these troops, but that constant fire from the bowman will slowly drag him down. 3,600 health though. Can he pull it through? A big old fat tear out could be really key now, but the ammunition on these peasants is getting incredibly low as well. One unit completely out of ammo. The other, let's have a little look. 1 volley left and 2 volleys left, but it's just about enough to bring the Titan down. The Tomb King General dying premature, a story of my life. I understand that. I understand that so much. Ushopti Summon is GG. You guys thought it was, but Consul of Rome showing once and for all that Bretonnians have that true grit that can drag them through a victory. Stormrunner Summon didn't go off. No, that is a disaster. Zombies. The Ushopti did. Oh, it took me 3 tries to get the summon. Ah, that sucks that it took him so long to get it up. And a real key moment in the battlefield as well. Fortunately, these things do sometimes happen. So we're going to be on Alpine Ridge next, and the next challenger is going to be Vayash. Cool. So Flying Man might not be able to play as well. Looks like his game's gone on for a little bit longer. But I'll message Vayash. You're up, bro. So it looks like that might be a bug then, unfortunately, for the Tomb Kings. This happened the last time he played as well. Hopefully that's something CA will look into. So Consul is up 1, and let's get Vayash in here. Oh, there we go. Cool, and in comes ODM's very own Vayash. I did not know he represented them, but good to see him. Hey, dude. So good to have him on the channel, making his channel debut here, which is always good to see. Vayash is the first top player that repeatedly smashed me in quick battles when I started playing the game. Well, I've heard of him before, so I knew I had seen him around quite a bit. We're getting a load of big players playing these right now. It's super good fun. Yes. So after Vayash, I think Flyman's going to need a bit more time, so I'll move him to the bottom of the list to try and get him in. But afterwards will be the Mighty Zeus, if he is still about, and then Deidus. I'll message Zeus, let him know that he's up after this. Cool, organised all of that. So Consul Rome is picking Empire, banning Skaven and Coast. Come on, someone's got to pick lizardmen. Please, do it for me. Do it for the memes, do it for the dreams. High Elves, nice. A High Elf first is Empire face-off. Don't think we've seen High Elves yet today on the stream. So it'll be interesting to see. Fairly even matchup in my opinion. Cav fight can go either way. Of course, you can go demigryph with halberds if you want to go really hardcore, and then go toe-to-toe with the likes of dragon princes and so forth. Both have a ton of variations they can go. A lot of different ways they can take their forces. They're so adaptable. Both these armies, I feel, with a top player behind them, can be pretty unstoppable. Aerial game, again, something both players can contest with dragons, griffins, all that type of good stuff. And infantry game, both can go pretty damp noodle if they want. High Elves, though, get in a little bit ahead when it comes in terms of elite infantry, but they lose out on artillery. So, you know, so many different ways this can go. Another Skaven game, yes, yes. Oh no, unfortunately no Skaven, boo-boo. Sorry, man. Imperator kicked my butt a couple times. He almost came on the channel the other day, actually. I can't remember when, but we need to try and get him back. He's a very, very good player. I'm not sure who the first big player I met was. I know Sarmatian kicked my butt around early on. I did manage to get a win off him, but it was I went for a true like Death Star Lizardmen build as a super grind fight. But I've played quite a few of like the big players now. I've played. I had a real good game early on against Lotus Moon when I like first started out the channel. Super fun game. That was really good. Looks like they're both ready, so let's get this cracking. So after this, we have Zeus, Daedus, and hopefully Flying Man, and that will close out the stream. Alpine Ridge, super fun map overall, an OG map from the very first Rome Total War. So it's changed a lot then. It used to be like one giant mound, and that was kind of the entire map. But it opens up so many kind of strategic options. Do you try and rush the hill, get the high ground and make Obi-Wan proud, and you know, force your opponent to fight upwards? Do you sit back and shoot your opponent off, or do you guys ignore the hill altogether? There's a large amount of trees on this right-hand flank for sneaky stallions, much like the Tower of Hoeth map. There's also some on the left-hand side and in some of the deployment zones, so you know, a little bit on the periphery as well, which is quite nice. In the distance, we see some gigantic mountains as well, including a nice skull watching over the battlefield. And this looks like a very interesting army coming from the High Elves. So, let's see what Vash brings to the table. On either flank at the moment, we have 3 units of Dragon Princes going bad to the bone hardcore there. Very small elite army. We have 3 units of White Lions of Chase, should do fairly well up against most of the infantry. We have 2 Frostheart Phoenixes, a Phoenix I do not see very often at all. Much more likely to see the Flamesfire one. So this one does not get the Rebirth proc, but it does have a Blizzard Aura, which is a nice debuff to everyone. Also attuned to magic, so the less magic you use, the more damage resistance they have. We also have a Noble up on a pony here, and Alariel the Radiant as well, coming in with Earthblood, Far's Protection, Star of Avalon, all that good stuff. So super small elite army, very fast moving hit and run. Try and make the White Lions the anvil to keep the Empire in place and hammer them with the heavy cav. So let's have a look at the Empire build. Looks like he's deploying it all on one flank. Up in, just you know, up on the high ground here, which is a nice play, so he gets an early look at his opponent's build. We have some Outriders with grenade launchers who do some decent damage up against the White Lions and so forth. Well, they do have a bit of missile resistance. For the front line, we have some of the biggest Zealots of Flagellants for the Empire here. In centre, we do have Sigma's Sons as well, Unbreakable Swordsmen, so an unbreakable front line for the most part. Then backing up, we have some basic swordsmen flanked by some spearmen on either side, just to help and protect the box where he can. Silver Billets are hiding in the middle of that, and in reserve we do have Demigryph Knights of Halberds and 2 units of Empire Knights. Once again, kind of explain what I did earlier, using the Cav defensively to protect these handgunners and also the Sunmaker. Constant Rome brings this so often, and it's highly considered a meme by most people, but he makes it work so well. But he's not going to have too many good targets here, as it does, of course, do fire damage, and all of those Dragon Princes, of course, have immune to fire. Not completely, but it's really high. We also have an Archlector as a Lord, clashing 2 hammers together there. Not a guy you see terribly often here. They did get a buff a couple of patches ago, so they're a bit more kind of seen more often nowadays. He's brought Grand Soulfire, Grand Shield of Faith, Grand Hammer of lots of grand stuff, and of course he has Benediction with him as well. So it looks like the Rome is all ready, and so is Vash, and we'll get this underway. Empire Knights actually decide to deploy in a more aggressive approach to try and protect the Pistoliers. Or Outriders, sorry. So we're going to get some early grenade shots coming off. Pounding into the white lines, doing some okay damage in the first one. That's pretty good. The Hellstorm rocket battery does hit the Dragon Princes, but as I said, they have that fire resistance. So it's not going to be doing too much work, unfortunately. Over time, I suppose, you know, it all adds up and we'll start to drag people down. But this high elf build is particularly nasty, I think, here. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. The Demigryphs are going to have to put this game on their back a little bit and really help deal with the Dragon Princes. Hellstorm rocket battery, only one hit that begins some really decent damage onto the white lines of chase. A much better target to try and hit those guys down. Ignore the Dragon Princes and try and drag them down late game with sheer numbers. Pin them in with Empire Knights and Demigryphs. And shoot them down with Silver Bullets, who have revealed themselves. Getting some shots onto the Frostheart Phoenix. Rocket battery, looks like it was going after the Noble there, which not the best target, as those guys are not particularly accurate. But yes, everyone moving forward slightly here. Sunmaker getting some decent shots over towards the white lines. Now got a bit of better arc now they can come over the hill. Some huge shots coming in, but as you expect, it's incredibly inaccurate. Another volley comes in. A little bit more accurate this time, doing some decent damage. And the third volley, equally kind of inaccurate there. So that guy needs to get his aim in a little bit. We have a ton of shots now coming in from these Outriders on these white lines, who are going to struggle in the front line just because of their simple fact of their numbers are quite low. Silver Bullets getting some nice shots onto the Frostheart as well. The other one does pop down onto Empire Knights to try and do some decent damage where he can. Now, I believe the Demigryphs are still in deep reserve, I want to say. Where are you, Demigryphs? They pushed forwards. Where are they? They hidden the... I swear there was some Demigryph Knights somewhere. Oh, here they are. They have pushed up to protect the Silver Bullets a little bit. The frontline engagement does get underway. And now this is going to be real tricky when the Dragon Prince get into the mix as well. But for now, the white lines have been forced off, it looks like, on this right-hand flank. But some Dragon Princes have snuck into the back line. Could hop on top of the Sunmaker here quite effectively. Take it down, route it off before retreating. Dragon Prince is now hammering some Empire Knights with some nice cycle charging. And another unit has started to poke into the back line as well. Trying to get on top of these Demigryphs. If you can get a rear charge, that's going to be some nice early damage. But it looks like they do turn it just in time. Frostheart Phoenix coming in to assist as well, really trying to nuke these guys down. Star of Avalon as well, really nice play here. Demigryph's normally a perfect counter for this matchup, chucking everything he can in to keep these guys fighting. Over on the other side, Dragon Princes do get netted down, again obliterated here by some fire attacks coming in from the Outriders. Silver Bullets moving up as well. Spearmen trying to come in and surround these guys, pinning them in place. Really nice play by that Light Wizard there. White lines being forced off all across the battlefield. But the Demigryphs are routing from the field. They may be able to rally, but there is no healing on their side. Looks like the Empire Knights are being forced off as well. And these Dragon Princes, with Far's protection on them, are doing a particularly grand job here, forcing their way through the Empire forces. The power balance does start to swing in favour of the High Elves. In the back line, Dragon Princes were dealt with fairly effectively here. They are being pushed off and did lose almost half health, so not a bad pick here by Consul Rome, not wanting to give up his crown just yet. And the Silver Bullet's going to be getting some fantastic shots into Dragon Princes, who are being protected right now by these Empire Knights. Looks like the Sunmaker crew trying to get back to their artillery piece, but there's so much cav still active, and it looks like the Arch-Elector has found himself in a very rough spot here, getting picked on by a Noble plus a Frostfire Phoenix. Or Frostheart Phoenix, sorry, who's going to be obviously nuking all these guys' stats. So even with his buffs, that Noble is doing some serious work here. White lines do rally to the fray, but again, not going to be doing too much damage. Another net comes down on these Dragon Princes, but a extended Earthblood is there to counter as well. Looks like we're getting another spell coming down as well, which is a big old Far's protection. If you overcast it, it does become Air of Effect. So there's a really nice combo coming in. We have a Phoenix in the back line hopping on top of the Silver Bullets, trying to shut him down where they can. And poor Alariel, not poor Alariel, but the poor Sunmaker crew kind of getting eaten here by Alariel. So overall, Empire have started to kind of rally over on this right-hand flank, but for the most part, the High Elves are kind of having their way, running down characters with Dragon Princes, and there's just not enough to stop them anymore. Silver Bullets, it looks like for the most part, out of action for now, trying to get back into the fray, but there's no protection around them. A Frostheart Phoenix could go over there and finish those guys off. Sunmaker crew, even if they do rally, they did get up to 55 kills, so not too bad, getting the value where they could. They're going to be useless against all these Dragon Princes who are now riding around the battlefield, shutting down troops where they can. Nice lancing charge coming in here, forcing these flagellants to their knees. And the Arch-Elector does start to break from the combined might of the Noble and the Frostheart Phoenix. Man, imagine being a Noble in this matchup and taking down a Lord. That would feel really good. You should definitely force that guy off and break the will of the Empire forces, who are starting to kind of stagger and struggle a little bit now as the game goes on. Dragon Prince in the back line, just trying to clean up the Sunmaker crew where possible. We don't want to get engaged too much onto Spearman. L'Oreal doing a decent job, and in come another unit of Dragon Princes. This must be so painful for Consul Rome. Every time he looks in a different direction, every time he forces one unit off, another one comes on. And the constant attack in here is really starting to pay its toll. Now, the Demiglyphs actually did rally. These guys need to get back to the battle way earlier than they have so far. Getting here and starting to try and make a difference, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late. Frostheart Phoenix is going to continually chase the silver bullets. It's only a matter of time before those guys go down. Dragon Princes, once they realise the Arch-Elector has rallied, can easily go and finish him off. There is still a lot of swordsmen, including the Sigma Sons, who can maybe grind out these forces, but another Star of Avalon coming in, going to be getting this Frostheart Phoenix pretty much up to full health here. And these guys look like they were going to try and stand and fight to allow the Sigma Sunstone to get into action. They have been netted down here. Consul Rome, not going down without a fight, has allowed all his forces to get into action, but it is too late, and army losses has set in. Everyone is broken and running from the field, apart from the unbreakable troops. Only a matter of time before they go down, and that is GG's from Consul Rome. Really nice attempt there at the end to pin these guys in place, get his mass state troops on them, and drag down their health where he can. But a little, too late, and down the king goes. We get some nice cinematic shots now. No, Consul Rome going to be bowing out there, so GG's overall. Nice play by both players, and we do have a new warrior. Vyash is the true king of the stream as it stands. So we will be switching a match to El Angui, and hopefully Zeus is online and ready to hop in. Cool, dropped a message, let him know he's on. Sweet. You'll be after Zeus's game. So, Flying Man is here as well. So, we are going to have... Oh, wait, no, have I switched that around? Sure. Okay, so Zeus wants a little bit of time. Cool. So Zeus is going to be second. So we have 3 games left. Flying Man is popping in. Then we have Zeus and then Daedalus. If he's still in chat, please let me know. I'll let you know you guys are back in. Oh no, it looks like chat is disconnected. No. Oh no, I think my phone's just disconnected from the internet. That's fine. Unfortunately, I cannot see your beautiful faces right now. Cool. So, Flyman, if you want to hop in, password is 123. And we will get him in. So just 3 games to go here. Hopefully everyone can still make it. So, yeah, Daedalus, or Daedalus, sorry. Been saying the right name wrong this whole time. If you're in chat still, please do let me know. Try and restart my phone. Hey, Flyman Diapers is here. Greetings. Let's change score. What do I think about it? Vyash up 1. And we have Flying Man Diapers. What a name! Down onto 0. So can anyone get rid of the curse? Can anyone win 2 games in a row? We are on El Anguil here. Super fun map. Lots of trees and lots of open ground as well. Cool, let's reset my internet phone. Please don't run amok and start a riot in my chat before I get back. Fortunately, my phone does disconnect from the internet now and again. It's just how our Wi-Fi works, which kind of sucks. But luckily, my computer is plugged directly into the LAN, so you shouldn't have that problem. Okay, I'm on internet. Last time I had to go AWOL for a bit. I left my chat in charge of Poison Ducky, and all hell broke loose. So, let's see. Looks like we are back. Cool. Looks like everyone's still here, so it should be good. Skaven game, yes, yes. He comes like hail to the king, baby. I'm confused. How does this work? Also, Flying Man is a new player. So you pick a faction now, but you can't pick Wars, Chaos, or Coast. So yeah, Wars, Chaos, and Vampires, yeah. And just see, here we go. So we are getting some Skaven represented here by Vash, which would be good to see. I'm sure Daniel will be very happy with that. Lizardmen, sweet. These guys will face Delph. And then Zeus will hopefully be back after that. He said he was currently hosting an event of some description, I believe. So we'll get Zeus in, and then Daedalus, if you're still in chat, please let me know, and we'll get you in for the last game. If anyone in chat could let me know how long the stream's been going on for, that would be fantastic as well, so I can get a rough estimate of how it's going. Try not to make it too long, like over 3 hours. I've still got quite a bit of work to do today. Yeah, both these guys, it's their first time on stream. Haven't seen Vash before, obviously he is now the current king. Flyman Diapers, new to the multiplayer scene, so good to see some new players coming in as well, and going up against a very experienced tournament veteran. Should be good fun. ODM has been heavily represented today so far on stream, getting lots of wins by Chosen One early on as well. But we have a ton of huge clans, and of course we did do a clan civil war with ODM not too long ago, which is super fun. So we had normal Death Before Dishonor set up, so 4-man, best of 3 tournament, best of 5 finals, but it was only members of Clan ODM, and I keep meaning to message Flying Taco about getting Extreme Meme Team to do the same, but if you are part of a clan and you want to come in, we can always do that as well. Thank you, Park Map, 2 hours and 40 minutes, jeez. Okay, we're going to try and speed through these last games quite quickly. So unfortunately we will just, we won't have time for Darth Pendragon, unfortunately, but that was a little unlucky in the first place. I may be bad, I have broken my wrist. Well, an absolute hero for playing on anyway. Playing with a broken wrist. What champ? An absolute beast of a competitor. Check Discord. Does it do have another little message? Nah, looks like we're all good. So can anyone stop the tyrannical reign of the new king? And can he get past 2 wins? Currently on the 1 now, so he'd need to take down Flying Man Diapers plus Zeus. Let's go, go. Yes, I'm excited as well. I am very excited. Like they're just still sorting out their armies. This matchup used to, I think... I feel when a lot of DLCs came out and Warplock Giselles and Warp Lightning Cannons and so forth, it was really tough for the dinosaurs to kind of evolve, and it took a while for them to evolve and kind of get into this matchup, make it competitive. But now, experienced Lizardmen players can easily play this matchup. It's very even. You have a ton of harassing tools, lots of skinks. Salamanders, I think, work quite well here as well. If you don't get them sniped out, they can tear apart Hell Pit Abominations. I played Gojira on ladder not too long ago. Knew I was probably going to be outclassed as a player. So I went balls deep, went real risky, brought 4 Salamander hunting packs, and prayed he took the Hell Pit Abominations, and he did, and it was glorious, burning flesh all over the place. Brought those guys down quite quickly. Let's get this started. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please do consider giving me a little thumbs up button, a little smash. It really helps out. And of course, subscribe if you like this type of content. King of the Hills, we try and do weekly. So I try and host one of those weekly, and a Death Before Dishonor, which is a little bit more seriously taken tournament, which is normally a 4-man tournament. We're probably going to be changing the format. So I need to get people's opinions on this. I'm thinking of putting it on challenge, having it open to as many players as they want each week, and then casting the semi-finals and finals, much of the way Turin, Sparkus, and so forth host theirs. That would mean people need to be around earlier in the day, though, to compete. So I'm going to run that by my Discord and see what people think. But that will be hosted on Friday this week. So, super fun map here. We have some trees on the right-hand flank and all around the periphery. Also in the middle here for some sneaky stabbings and just a bit of, cover from long-range firepower. But at the same time, you can kind of tempt your opponent out into these open plains in the centre. And all the time, what you'll see a defensive player doing on this side deployment will deploy in this left-hand flank, forcing an opponent to emerge from the trees into a little bit of a killing pit, which can work very effectively. Some nice, beautiful Bretonian architecture in the background, looking very regal and so forth as they cower behind their towers and watch the battle unfold. Should be good. We'll see how this goes. Now, I've noticed this skull changes. Does it change depending on which faction you are? So, because I'm watching from the point of view of Skaven, is that why it goes Skaven? I'm not sure. I am not sure. So, let's have a little look at... Also got a little bit of problem. There we go. Let's look at the king and his first attempt to defend his crown. For his front line, we have a mixture of Skaven, slaves, plague monks, clan Vulcan tail slashers, one of the coolest sounding units in the game. Plus, I mean, little rats with flaming swords can't get more badass than that. More Skaven slaves as well. So a mixture of super cheap troops mixed in with plague monks, storm vermin, blight scab, plague pack as well. All keeps dying around at the moment. So Council Guard as well, Regiment Renowned Stormwomen to back up the Regiment Renowned Plague Monk Censer Bearers. So nice, cheap and cheerful chaff, popped in with a group of a load more elite troops as well, can often catch players off guard. So I quite like that pick overall. Over in the distance, I'm sure won't be deployed here, but we do in fact have a unit of Rattling Gunners, 2 units of Rat Ogres, and a Hell Pit Abomination can tear apart Saurus very effectively. This army is really designed here to kill an elite Saurus build. I feel like it could really struggle up against Salamander spam, however. We have Lord Skronk as well, one of the most competitive picks, this little plague disease-ridden rat. Looking at disgusting as always, of course, brings the Lieber, Roll of Corruption, all that good stuff. So, really nice, solid build designed to mulch through a Saurus-heavy build. It looks like that's kind of what we have here, so this could cause danger. Over on the right-hand flank, we have some Cold One Spear Riders, 2 units in fact hiding in the trees. Up above them, high in the sky, we have some Pterodon Riders, Foliage Bowlers, and there's not too much range actually to deal with them. They could do some huge damage, especially to some squishy units like the Blight Scab Plague Pack. In the front line, we have a load of Saurus Warriors with shields all the way along, cheap and cheap. Well, not that cheap. Mid-tier infantry will do very well, but they may struggle up against the elite of the Skaven. So we also have 1 unit of Spears on the flank, a unit of Temple Guard as well, a couple of units of Skink Skirmishers. We have a Feral Carnosaur who should do fairly decent here if he doesn't get in too long of an engagement up against the Hell Pit Abomination or those Rattling Gunners or Storm Vermin. Actually, it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but if he gets in the right locations, he should be fine. We also have Krokgar on a Horned one. Lovely to see him on a different mount for once. Pleased that he's brought Hand of the Gods. He hasn't. I love Hand of the Gods in this matchup. He does so much work to help Abominations and Lord Skronk himself. But overall, really solid build. Going a bit more of a tight build here, trying to force his way through as a bit of a hammer. Skaven versus Lizards, just what we like to see. We've got arch enemies. David the White Lizard, I assume you were back in Lizard Men here as much as possible. It looks like Flying Man is ready, just waiting on the King. Well, of course, us meagre peasants should, of course, wait for the Mighty King where possible. Should be good fun. Balance power did actually slightly in the favour of the Skaven, but that might just be because of the numbers. We do have 1,355 Skaven up against a meager 712 Lizard Men, which is a bit of a worry considering how elite this Skaven build actually is. Yes, we have all the slaves, but Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, Council Guard, Stormvermin with Hellbirds, Plague Monks, Blight Scale Plague Corps is going to be a nightmare to try and deal with, but effective cycle charging could really help out with the Cold Ones, but then you have the Hell Pit Abomination to deal with as well. Rattling Gunners, this is a really solid Skaven build in my little humble opinion. So, Pterodon Riders, Foliage Bowlers though, I assume must do fire damage. Of course they do. Could do some really decent work on the Hellpit Abomination over time. Of course he has regeneration, so fire does extra damage. They can also snipe out Skrulk. He's very, very squishy. Only 3,500 health, but they have to be a bit careful. Rattling Gunner is going to be really useful for protecting them. So the closer you get, the more damage the Rattling Gunners do, and they slow you down, of course, as well. So the Skaven are going to be advancing, and so are the Lizardmen, forcing their way into the trees. Not a bad place to fight, will neuter the Hellpit's skills, but at the same time, you want to get your Cold Ones into the fray. It looks like they are pretty well heading over there, going to be swinging around, possibly getting into the back line, shutting down the Rattling Gunners, and then trying to get on the Rat Ogres, and so forth. So any sneaky stabbings coming in from the Skaven? Nah, looks like it's pretty much what you see is what you get. So it looks like taking a defense posture just out of the tree line for now, moving up with the rest of his army. Feral Carnosaur getting ready as well. It's kind of clawing at the ground, getting ready to go. Always good to see Carnosaurs in action. And Skaven simply advancing. So, Cold One Speareyes do try and spring the chap fairly early here, trying to get into a decent position. Could get some early cycle charging on the Plague Monks and the Skaven Slaves, trying to force them down, as long as they back off before the Storm Vermin do rally. Looks like the Hellpit Abomination and Rat Ogres are going to be cycling over to this flank here, just to counter that a little bit. Pterodons do come in, getting some nice shots in on the Skaven Slaves, but, you know, it's damage is damage. At least they do have 4 kills, but Rattling Gunners are going to be opening up fire now, going full Predator mode, trying to drag these guys down. Look at the damage they do in just one volley. If these Pterodons, though, do daringly get over top of these guys, they could drop their bombs here and do some decent work, but instead they're just getting annihilated at the moment, which is really unfortunate for them. Of course, he's probably trying to micro Cold One Rise and whatnot across the battlefield, so Pterodon Rise are getting pulled apart at this point. But if they can get out of there without taking too many losses, they still have the Rock Drop, can still do some decent damage as the game does progress. So the rest of the Lizardmen forces are starting to now advance and push up where they can. On the left-hand flank, it looks like Cold One Speareyes are going to be getting caught here by some Skaven Slaves. Not where they want to be. They are turning to engage. Of course, they will tear them apart. But Storm Vermin coming into play is not where they want to be. Once again, these guys now do have been spotted now by the mighty Flying Man Diapers. We're pulling out as much as possible. Look how many of them are hooked up on a few mega Skaven Slaves. It's ridiculous. Imagine if that actually happened in real life. But Raggar's trying to get in there and get some decent attacks. So the Source Warriors are pushing down from the trees. The initial charge, though, is going to be absorbed here by the Skaven Slaves, taking away that charge bonus for the more elite troops to get in there and do some action. And in we go. Source Warriors will demolish Skaven Slaves in combat, but it will be incredibly glorious, as we can see their health just start to completely disintegrate here. Fortunately, looks like Pterodon Riders may in fact rout completely off the field. Nope, they do rally just in time, but only 3 models left. And the rest of these forces really need to be moved up and supporting the Source Warriors. They cannot win this fight on their own. We need to get these Skink Skirmishers into the action on top of the Plague Monks, doing that decent damage where they can, and getting the Temple Guard up there as well to support, try and pin in those key targets. So the Cold One Speareyes getting dragged apart a little bit, unfortunately, by the Hellpit. Yes, they have anti-large, but isolated like this, up against Storm Vermin as well, they will get dragged down fairly heavily here. Loads of shots coming in to the Feral Carnosaur, who also has the lever popped on him. Means he's really going to struggle in the matchup. Source Warriors getting good kills across the board, but a nice Plague Monk summon in the back here is going to completely surround the Source Warriors and really tear those guys apart. And the battle is heavily swinging out in favour of the Skaven. It looks like, unfortunately, Flyman has left this entire core. That's 3 units there out of action. These Skink Skirmishers need to get into the front line and Temple Guard. But of course, this is a relatively new player, and mistakes like this happen to even the most elite players as well, but it is what's costing him heavily here. Feral Carnosaur is starting to be routed from the battlefield. Both Cold One Speareyes have been broken off as well. Really nice hammer clutching those guys with the Ogres, popping then with Skaven Slaves to surround them and getting the Hellpit Abomination in as well, which is now just clearing up that front line very, very effectively here. Rangullans have only got 5 kills, but they've done so much HP work so far, and they are going to decimate and finish the job on these Pterodon Riders, getting some nice shots up into these guys, who are slowly being decimated. They're down to 300 health. Those guys are going to break, and there is no way they will be making a return here. Unfortunately, never got to use their rock drops, and Saurus paying up a brave fight wherever they can. 59 kills here, 29 kills here, but they are slowly being dragged down now by the more elite units of the Skaven. And unfortunately for Krogar, he's just fighting the Skaven Slaves over here, gets him pitted in. He needs to be kind of trying to snipe out lords, take down the Hellpit and so forth. He's a very powerful combatant. Looks like the Skink Skirmishers were kind of remembered at this point, getting forward, but they are currently shooting into Storm Vermin. It's tough though, there's so many Skaven everywhere that I don't think there's too much he can do to get his way back into this. Temple Guard can try and rally some forces, maybe rally around Krogguard, beat down the Hell Pit, maybe snipe out Skrog, but I don't think Vash is going to let that happen. He's a very elite seasoned player here. Council Guard now going to go toe-to-toe with Temple Guard on a super elite smash off here. Temple Guard flinging themselves high into the sky to come down with some crushing blows. And of course they haven't been fighting the whole time, so they are incredibly fresh at this point, decimating the Council Guard, but they're going to get surrounded and picked off. Skirmishers are going to be firing into the mist, but there's not too much they can do here. Unfortunately, Krogguard does pop all his buffs, trying to get in there and take down the Hell Pit, but without support here, the Skaven Slaves will actually saturate quite nicely on top of this guy, muck up a couple of Krogguard's attacks, and do a little bit of damage here and there. Rattling Gunners looks like we're just finishing the job on a couple of units, forcing off some Saurus Warriors, up to 5 kills now, and they are going to be now unloading shots into Krogguard, very wisely getting the Hell Pit Abomination out of there. He doesn't need to take any damage at this point. Use the Skaven Slaves to ping him in, and then just damage him from afar with the Rattling Guns. Very Skaven play there, while the Hell Pit Abomination still instead comes back and beats up the Saurus Warriors. Temple Guard, bravest warriors in all the land, but surrounded by this many foes with no allies, even they are starting to break here. 31 leadership, fighting far longer than most warriors would, and we do have a bit of a resurgence here from the Lizardmen. Balanced Power is dangerously close now, getting into army losses. Rattling Gunners doing that constant damage into Krogguard, trying to force his way through to get on top of them. They're getting pinned in here by Skaven Slaves. It can be tough. It looks like some of them actually got killed by their own fire here, allowing him to escape a little bit. But another lever popped on him. I think that is GG's and all she wrote. So another win for the Skaven, which I'm sure Daniel was going to be very happy about. And they've been very well represented so far today, with isolated pockets of resistance from the Saurus, trying their best to hold the line. Krogguard finally free, but does shatter under the might of that warp fire coming in at him. And very good game overall. So Vash does go through there and is going to hold on to his crown. So let's update the scoreboard. Vash up to 2, and we have Zeus coming in next. Zeus. We'll let him know. Your time to shine. Like I said, I'm no good. Nah. Practice is the best way. A lot of new players say this. They often have and seem like, oh, I told you I wasn't going to do anything. But that is the best way to learn. Also, it's quite a steep learning curve, but just practicing and playing as much as possible really does help. Sweet, Zeus is ready to hop in. Cool, and Lord Zeus is here. So can the god overthrow the king here and drag him down? And you're right, I am. Nice to see. Lord Zeus, yeah, just saying it's popped on top of the game now, which is awesome to see. I just sent Day Dallas a message, so we'll see if he responds. So this could be the last game of the stream, but hopefully we will get one more out of it as well, if he is free to play. I better send in the password, actually. We have a particularly complex password to stop people coming in. It is 123. It's actually not really there to be much password, just to stop people joining and make them realise that it's actually like an event. Should be good. I am hoping we see Tomb Kings coming in here from Zeus. He has a disgusting hero core he can build with a Necrotect, Tomb Prince and Cetra all on chariots, and it puts in some huge work. He's made it a bit popular, and I've seen one or two other people try and replicate it as well. So it's nice to see kind of big changes to the meta coming in, people putting in new builds, and it working out. I remember ages ago when I first kind of started getting into the game, there was a big switch with Lizardmen where people were bringing Saurus Warriors and bringing Bronus Time Warp and just turning them into absolute monsters, tearing for opponents, which I believe was made popular by Falcon. So it's nice to see that type of thing, you know, kind of change and bring in. And now it's kind of gone away again. You don't really see it that often, but I'm sure it's still very effective. It's taken long to load for some reason to get the launcher. That's strange. Hang on a second. Hardest password ever. Stronger as seals of the old ones, of course. So hopefully that will fix itself, and in the meantime we will check which map we want to do next. Let us go. Battle of Itza. Let's see it soon. So he sent me a picture of it, saying it was struggling to start, but it should be fine once it gets going. Hey, he's in! God enters the field. So Vash here is on a 2-win streak. Can he break the curse and be the first of our kings to actually get past 2 wins before being dragged down? I can confirm Lord Zeus is an incredibly powerful player as well. Very good on quick battles. So, and also I believe got one of the ECL kind of qualifying finals as well. So he's a bit of a beast. But as we've seen, the king will not give up his crown easily. The password said, "You shall not pass." I've been watching a ton of clips from Lord of the Rings today. Really procrastinating when I'm meant to be writing. Charge the Rohirrim. The bit where the Mimikai arrive and Theoden rallies Rohan to like reform the line and like sound the charge again is like my favourite moment in cinema history. It's so good. So good. So a king versus god, the ultimate showdown. Hopefully it will be better than Bat fighting God, and we will see. He gets huge max lag spikes on the map, sure. We will go. Altdorf outskirts, super fun map. Looks like Avayash may be going for Chaos. May change his mind when he sees the map. I don't think so, because this has even more cover, which is pretty useful for Chaos, and you can close the distance pretty good as well. What's the pick and ban? As King Vayash picks and bans too. So he picks Chaos, bans of Vampires and Vampire Camps. 2 very good bans there. Now who do I go in this matchup against the Chaos if they've banned those 2 factions? It's hard to see without all the factions kind of laid out in front of me. I feel like Lord Zeus is going to go Tomb Kings. He's going to want to represent the Egyptian boys as much as possible. But what would I go against Chaos? I don't see Chaos terribly often. Probably Lizardmen I would go in this matchup. The password is no match for a stuck sneak attack. That is true. Poison Ducky has sneakily hopped in stream before. Unfortunately, I'll just see if Daedra has... not Daedra. The other competitor has applied to us. I can make it. Cool. Day Dallas will be the last game. Tomb Kings. Hey. So I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to see that hero core, and it is very powerful. It can destroy Kolek in like seconds, which you wouldn't think many people could do. So interesting to see who Vayash picks here. I could even see the giant chicken so risky against you Shopty Great Bows and so forth. I know, well, because that massive missile is what I'm talking about. I can definitely see the giant chicken here. Personally, I like Brynn Archaon in this matchup. The fire damage works so well. He can, especially if you've been the Slayer of Kings and so forth, can snipe out constructs and characters very quickly. So I'm going with Caldea actually, so suck my bone. Sure. I'll believe that when I see it. You actually managed to catch a stream Sly Sneaky Seal. Also known as Tristan here. Unfortunately, this is the very end of the stream. We have 2 games left. So Vayash is currently the king, and he's on a 2-win streak, which is the most anyone's managed to get so far. Lord Zeus is going to be trying to take his spot, and then we have 1 more game after this one. I am not scheming, but I do have schemes. Ah, I see what you mean. Sneaky schnarschneck. Hey for Death Chariot build. Honestly, it's really cool to see. But he may go something different. Who knows? But good to see you, Tristan. Really great to have you catching a stream again. I know our times just don't match up too closely, unfortunately. We actually played some games the other day, me and Sly and Sneaky Still. Super fun, super close games. I think we're fairly evenly matched, which is always good to play people. Always good fun. Looks like Vash is ready. I'm just waiting on the mighty Zeus himself. And we will get going. So the final map, which will be on the next game, is... has been suggested, or kind of demanded, by Raptor, who unfortunately couldn't make the stream today, but he said he's going to watch the replay and it better be on there. So we are going to have a bit of a meme map for the last battle, which we often do. I can't remember what it is, but I can check it up on Discord before we start. What fin are you? Nice Chaos. Yes, Chaos being represented. We haven't seen them today. There's a few factions we haven't seen actually today. Greenskins haven't been represented. I don't think we've seen Vampirates. Which is a shame. Nice to get those guys in there as well. Have we seen Wood Elves? Yes, we saw 1 Wood Elf force, I believe. And that might be it. Good luck, have fun. Cool, looks like I get to go. And this is a heavyweight slugfest coming in here. These guys are pretty good. Yes, the Warlord of 8 Peaks! Like, if we had time, I would love for you to, like, sneak into the stream and bring a full goblin build. It'd be the greatest thing ever. I did that in Lore Master of Sotek's Tabletop Tournament. I brought a full goblin build. It nearly pulled off. I came against Grombrindle, who's a stupidly good player. I had the tools to beat him in the army, but his backline protection was just so good I couldn't break it, unfortunately. So Altdorf Outskirts, a map I've recently put into rotation in my tournaments, as I just never used it enough. Is that a golden statue of Sigma in the background? That is pretty damn gangster. So we are, of course, outside the capital of the Empire, which actually, funny fact, I've got a friend who lives in Switzerland at the moment, who's a big fan of Total War as well and Warhammer in general, actually passed the actual Altdorf recently, which is based in Switzerland. But this map, lots of trees for sneaky stabbings, especially on this right-hand flank, and bits dotted around for a bit of cover. A few hills as well, and this can really mess up your accuracy of your shooting. Particularly this hill, I've noticed. If you're attacking, you push through these trees, and if you wait in this dip, cannons and whatnot often can't shoot you and kind of overshoot and miss a little bit. Okay, we're enemies then. Maybe potential allies. Yeah, this little symbol does seem to switch actually every time a new faction comes in, which is good. We are loading up now, so let's have a look at Vayash's army. Oh, I'm trying to look in the distance to see what lords we have. We'll go through the mighty king's forces to start with, and leading his forces is of course Kolek Suneater, the Thunder God. This is what 4 wishes he could be. Giant hammer, lightning abilities, absolute tank. To finish off his leadership, we do have a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire as well, with Flaming Sword of Ruin and a Fireball. For his front line, cheap and cheerful Chaos Marauders, mixing with some Chaos Warriors as well, plus the Mirror Guard, just really good at holding the line, not so big as damage dealers, pretty decent nonetheless. And then, yeah, fitted out with Chaos Marauders as well for added width. In the back here, we do have 2 units of Chaos Warriors with Halberds, can be useful for taking down constructs and so forth. And then we have 3 units of Marauder Horsemen, or Horse Masters in fact, we're getting some nice damage on those constructs. We also have a Dragon Ogre Chekhov as well, perhaps one of the offspring of the mighty Completely forgotten his name there. Mighty Kolek Sun Eater. So nice rounded build. I often spam halberds myself, and then come in with some big monsters as well. Now, for the Tomb King's forces, of course, we have the Dangerous Three. This is what I'm talking about. So you have Cetra the Imperishable, who I believe has, there we go, the Blessed Blade of Betra, which does fire damage and weakens the opponent. What you then do is you have the Necrotect, who has Restore, can heal up his allies, but also have Vambraces of the Sun, making you 22% weaker to fire. So you combine those two together and you see where I'm going here. You have the Tomb Prince as well, who gives Guardian to both of those guys, and it is a disgusting assassination blob. And we'll see, if he gets in contact with Kolek and isolates him, it will demolish him in seconds. So we also have some Skeleton Horsemen archers as well for a little bit of harass, some Skeleton Horsemen as well, and then he's had to go fairly cheap and cheerful with his main army for the simple fact he's poured so much funds into this hero core. So we have Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spearmen just forming a nice defensive blob around a Bone Giant, who's getting some nice, decent long-range attacks. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a Vanguard off as well between some Skeleton Horsemen and Mordor Horseman Masters. So super fun builds coming by both players. We'll see if the smaller army of Tomb Kings manages to prevail. They're not that much smaller though. Looks like Vaush is ready. He does have quite a lot of chaff with the Skeleton Spearmen and so forth, but they will be dragged down by sheer numbers. No one expects the Nekakaran Inquisition. Should be good fun. Early fight definitely predicted here. These Skeleton Horsemen will do decent against the Horse Masters and force them back. Horse Masters, though, can skirmish fairly effectively. Looks like all three of them are going to be over here in different blobs. But at the same time, over on the other flank, they are missing quite a bit. But he does have some in reserve as well, so he may actually move a couple of these over into the back line as well. But these Mordor Horse Masters are going to be in for a bit of a struggle. Cool, looks like Zeus is ready to get going. And we should... I just heard like a crackle of lightning in the background to start the battle off. So it looks like Horse Masters only one to get caught now. Another one kind of moved a bit to the flank. He's going to be slightly trapped here though. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And instantly the Horse Masters are going to be retreating back. And the other unit is probably going to be able to escape as well and wrap up and around this army if carefully micromanaged. Oh, sorry, so I'm getting stuck in my throat there a little bit. All the Horse Masters pulling back here. Should be able to escape the Skeleton Horsemen quite quickly. The other archers, though, are just starting to do a little bit of damage to Chaos Warriors, but nothing spectacular, of course. Over this flank, it looks like the Horsemen have managed to catch the Horse Masters. These Marauders could easily come over here and pin these guys in place. And, of course, Horse Masters, one-on-one, are actually pretty decent melee combatants for Skirmish Cav, and doing a decent job up against these Skeleton Horsemen. But, of course, the trade price-wise isn't too great. In the back line, looks like a similar thing happened, but Marauders Horsemen are going to be forced off the field, chased down by some Nekakaran, or just basic Skeleton Horsemen here, which is a really nice early pick by Zeus. However, the Bone Giant is facing the wrong way and is no longer currently shooting at some of these big, nasty threats. The rest of the Chaos Forces do start to advance quite slowly as more Skeleton Horsemen do leak from the trees here and start moving up. So a big old fireball is swooping in here, going for an absolute long-range yeet, and it does hit Cetra, doing some decent to okay damage there. Looks like the Dragon Ogre Sheggoth thinks he can take this fight with the help of Kolek, but we're going to see how this goes down here. It's going to be pretty damn tough, as Flaming Sword of Ruin is popped, helping all these troops up. In retaliation, we do have Incantation of Protection, Blessed Blade of Betra go down as well, and you can see how quickly this Dragon Ogre Sheggoth is being nuked by this hero core here. At the same time, though, Cetra taking massive damage in return. Kolek coming in here as well, beating down the section. Are we going to see the Chariots here getting 2v1 successfully? Dragon Ogre Sheggoth, though, being forced off, almost broken there. Huge damage taken to that guy. These guys can now turn, and look how quickly Kolek is going down. Massive damage coming in. The Blessed Blade of Betra is still active. It's active for a stupid amount of time. Van braces the fight, making Kolek super weak. Look at all the debuffs he has, and he just gets routed that quickly. In retaliation, Cetra is almost defeated himself, but no, he's healing up a little bit there, actually. Not doing too bad. Bone Giant getting some nice shots into Kolek there as well. As for the rest of the battle, we do have some nice surrounds coming in from these Chaos Warriors, trying to help in this big blob fight in the middle, which is so key to the battle. Chaos Warriors doing a decent job. These halberds need to get active and push into the back line as well. And yeah, there's some more reserves. Skeletons going to be pushing up. Looks like though Horsemen come back to the fray, and Bone Giant is just free to shoot people at the moment. That poor Dragon Ogre Sheggoth is having to flee. Now, where is Kolek? I'm assuming he got forced off completely. Yes. Looks like he did unfortunately get completely forced off the battlefield. That is a huge loss early on for the Chaos. But Cedra has taken a huge amount of damage, and so has Necrotech. I think the key here is... Oh, a massive fireball to the face. Almost takes out Cedra down to 900 health. Chaos Sorcerer needs to stay away and keep trying to do those from range, chip away at his health there. I think the key here is what you need to do is take down the Necrotech first, then take down either Cedra or the Tomb Prince is the best way to go about it, because you want to stop that constant debuffing from the Necrotech. Chaos Warriors do hop on top of the Skeleton Warriors, should be able to turn them down fairly effectively. They're getting rear shot by Skeleton Horsemen Archers, which is a bit of a nightmare for them. Cedra does charge into his main blob fight, pop on top of these halberds, and just trying to break them as quickly as possible with this huge rear attack. Cedra 961 health though, he's got to be a bit careful. It looks like the halberds are starting to break here. More are trying to push through into the back line, and unfortunately that Dragon Shagoth once again is routed. Chaos Sorcerer at 5 really needs to get some decent fireballs in here to try and drag his way back into the game, as the Tomb Kings are starting to run away with this a little bit. In comes the Chariot Corps, hammering that Chaos Sorcerer 5, who does break, and I think that's game. There's no way he's going to be allowed to rally. Actually saying that, he's making a bit of a getaway now as I speak. But even with a fireball, even if they take out Cedra now, the rest of the battlefield is starting to struggle. Yes, Chaos Marauders and Chaos Warriors will be able to beat down the cheap chaff, but a Bone Giant plus the other two healthy chariots is going to be a real struggle. Cedra 930 health, but the Chaos Sorcerer 5 does rally, so if we have a fireball here, looks like we do, coming in, could finish him off, down to 930 health. In comes the shot, and bang, catches him pretty full on, down to 585 health. Not enough though. So we do have some Shopti summoned in the back. Looks like they're trying to force off this Chaos Sorcerer, but nice micro here by Vayesh, realising what is going on, and quickly escapes where possible. And now the grind fight is underway here. Bone Giant though up to a mighty 20 kills, getting some big shots on big targets as well. And the rest of the fight, Chaos are slowly dragging their way through the Tomb Kings. But without Kolag on the field, their leadership's not going to hold up, and the constant charging by Cedra and the chariots, I think, is going to be a little bit too much. So we may have a new king here, and unfortunately the curse of the 2-win streak may be underfoot here. So Chaos Sorcerer ducking and weaving, duck, dive, dodge, and dive and dodge. I can't remember the top 5 dodgeballs of dodgeball there. Trying to escape that Bone Giant, but he's now being caught by some Shopti, getting 1 or 2 swings in there. But even if he does try and keep this army afoot, it's going to be so tough. Halberds may be able to drag down the Bone Giant and the chariots if there's sloppy micro from Zeus here. Maybe he can snipe out Cedra as well, but I don't think he's going to allow that to happen. He's keeping him far away from the battlefield. The rest of the Chaos Forces are slowly starting to deteriorate, get forced off. A big old fat fireball coming into the Tomb Prince, but once again, what's he going to do when he catches you? Yes, he's doing a decent amount of damage, but unfortunately I think he is going to be forced away. Bone Giant as well, trying to take that guy down, but it's probably did some more damage to the Tomb Prince there. Army losses is starting to settle in, I think, as this Chaos Sorcerer does seem to be starting to waver here, and across the board the Chaos Forces are starting to break and fall apart here. Chaos Sorcerer is now as well being chased down by Skeleton Horsemen. Should be able to pin him in place, get a nice boost on their charge attack there, give them a bit of extra speed, and down goes the Chaos Sorcerer, and we have a new king. And disaster, because if Zeus wins all his remaining games, which is the last game, we still don't have an outright winner of the longest win streak, but we will have a winner of the stream holding down that crown. The dreaded triple chariot. So let's pop open OBS here. Unfortunately, Vayesh has gone down. Oh, I'll just quickly message Europe. Let me know he's up. And it is De Dallas. And Zeus is up to 1 win. So very well played. Managed to get him off. Yep, see it. Right, it's last game now. Nobody expects the Cedra squad. Last game now, so unfortunately this means you get a Raptor picked meme map. So let's go see what it was. So let's scroll through my Discord. Hope you're happy about this, Raptor, when you come back and watch this and what you've done. Golden Tributes is the map. So let's go find golden tributes. This looks horrifically disgusting, which is lovely. And especially not how well they wreck Kolek. They destroyed Kolek so quickly. So Protocol has popped in. I can actually change his name to that if he wants. That is his in-game map. Hello. So let's just change his name to Protocol, which I assume is what he wants to go by on in-game. And there we go. So this is the last game. So any questions, or if you know this could be your last chance to pump that thumbs up button, subscribe, and all that awesome cool stuff. So Protocol, will he go down as the king on the stream, or will Lord Zeus once again prove it is better to be a god than a king? Oh dear, what is this map? So Zeus picks and bans 2. It would be the one time I implement a new rule where after 3 wins you only pick 1 and ban 1, that we don't get any king who actually lasts that long, which is kind of funny. This map really sucks. Well, you should hunt down Raptor and curse the day he picked this map. I believe this is a quest battle map, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks disgusting. I can feel the kind of disgusting leaking through me. So, Lord Zeus is picking... Dun dun dun, leaving us on tension here. Some guy in the German Cup thought it was a competitive map. I don't know if I fully remember this map. I've watched my housemate play on his Lizardman run through. If it's a map I think of, there is a ridiculous amount of shot blockers, and it's just disgusting. So if that was played in the German Cup, that is brilliant. The suspense. Vampire Coast, Lord Zeus pulling no punches, pulling one of his favourite factions, banning the mighty Dowie. And it'd be interesting to see who else he bans. Probably Wood Elves, I would recommend. Wood Elves are pretty good in this matchup, I think. Use Swift Shiver Shards, I really like. Can do decent damage and so forth. All the suspense. The suspense. Another quick sip of water just to stop my throat going too dry for this final showdown. Thank you guys, boys, so far for sticking out with me. Still got a decent amount of people watching. I know Turin is also streaming now, which does tend to happen like partway through my streams. Obviously lose a few people, but you know, the games will all be uploaded afterwards anyway, so you can come back and watch it. After this as well, I do highly recommend going to, so sticking out for this last game, then going over to Turin's channel, checking out his live stream, and say hello from me as well in the chat room. Interesting. Let me consult my oracle, burn some incense to figure out who to pick. Check Discord. Looks like we're all good. We'll see who he does go. Zeus the Legend. Zeus is an incredibly good player, man. It's been around for a long time as well, I believe, since Total Warhammer 1. Banning the poor Dowie, though. No Dowie love on today's stream, which is very sad. I'd like to see those guys in action a bit more. Oh, we have one. Beastmen. Really nice pick. I really like Beastmen in this matchup. You can swarm, you can take the monster fight as well. There is a little bit of randomness of what you decide to pick. Razorgore herds are great here. They're swift, they can crush through infantry fairly effectively, but at the same time pin in big nasty crabs, terrorgeists and so forth, and they have a decent amount of AP damage, and they can just pin and lock people in. Then you get Ungor raiders and throwing axes and so forth to hop on top and really hammer them down quite nastily. Sweet, the confusion worked. Perfect. Lord Zeus, though, does have a very disgusting build with a ton of guns, which you just get shot to death brutally. But Beastmen, you know, they can eat those shots and hop on targets as well. I lost 2 games because of maps on the German Cup. That is super frustrating, Ronan. So I try and tend to test out maps in things like King of the Hill, and in the actual tournaments we use tried and tested ones. Dagger, dagger, bring the boys! I would love to see some Greenskins. We didn't see them today either. Greenskins versus Dwarves would have been a great grudge match to end it out on. But alas, we'll have to save that for next time. Sabib, nice to see you, man. Zeus legend, he is indeed, both in Greek mythology and in the game. And I've said it once, I've said it twice, and I will say it again. Mr. Poison Ducky, the slyest and most poisonous of duck varieties, does in fact have a very cool YouTube channel himself. He's a big supporter of my own channel, so if you like what I do, you'll most certainly like what he does as well. Lots of Total War content, including as well a few other games dotted in there as well. I am eventually going to branch out to other games, maybe some movie reviews and breakdowns as well. I'm a big kind of movie fanatic, I suppose, movie and TV shows. I recently watched the Harley Quinn animated TV show, and I cannot recommend it enough. The recent one, it came out like 2 months ago. Kaylee Cuoco? I can't say her name. Kaylee Cuoco? Something like that. Plays Harley Quinn, and it is phenomenal. It's one of the best animated shows I've seen ever, period. It's very brutal, hard 18, but super fun, and I highly recommend it to you guys. Looks like Protocol is ready, just waiting on the mighty Lord Zeus, but as current king and god of this realm, of course, he can take his time. With this map, how vampire pirates get line of sight? That is true, but I think a lot of these shot blockers are a lot lower than they look. I don't think they're all temples. I think that some of them like this, which could help them and bottleneck the beastmen up, take them in kind of... Oh, I'm not even close to trying a new build. No worries. We're not in a rush. Definitely going to go grab a pizza after this. That's like my go-to food after a stream. It's just nice and quick. I can chuck it in the oven. Be done in like... I need to go around the road and get it, but like be done in like 30 minutes by the time I've got the food, got back, cooked it, and then I'm straight back to work. If vampires get the high ground side, it's probably over before it starts. Well, of course, Papa Palpatine will say that. Are you excited, by the way, Palpatine, for the Obi-Wan TV show? I'm very excited. I was really... I thought Mandalorian was fantastic. So if it's anywhere near that type of quality, I'll be a happy boy. A happy boy indeed. Some of you guys have been here since the very start of the stream, so massive shout out to you guys. I'm not sure how long we've been going for now. 3.5 hours, I think. So it's going to come to under 4 hours. That's a long stream, one of our longest ones we've ever done. Do try and keep it a bit shorter than this, but I had some free time. We started a little bit earlier than usual, so... And, oh, by the way, Palpatine, I did see your Discord message. I haven't had a chance to answer yet, and the answer is yes, if we are doing the normal tournament. I'll get back to you on that after this. We'll probably have got after I've gone food as well, because we're gonna be trying something new. I'll explain in my Discord anyway. If anyone watching this does want to take part in tournaments and stuff, live streams like this, and just keep up to date and have a nice chat with everyone on my Discord. We've got a growing community now, like over 40 people, I think. Just basically be nerds talking about Total War. Feel free, I mean, cool cats talking about Total War. Feel free to join my Discord, link in the description just down below. Is there an Obi-Wan show coming? There is indeed. Ewan McGregor is reprising his role, which I'm so pumped about. He's one of my favourite actors. Incredibly talented person, and I think he was one of the best things about the prequels, especially acting-wise. It's been delayed slightly. I think after the success of Mandalorian, they're like, oh crap, we need to make sure this is another banger, because that was so good, you know. And it is coming, I believe next year is when they start filming. Or no, maybe filming this year and the show's coming next year. Can't remember. So, look at this beautifully well-balanced, glorious map of... I mean, to be honest, it is a fantastic looking map. I'm a big fan of like the Aztec lizardman kind of architecture, like mixing in the dinosaurs, snakes and so forth, and kind of the more magical elements into the temples is a really cool look here, especially with all the foliage as well, and like the hanging vines and so forth. Just look at that. How could you not love that? Ideas for my next tattoos. Big old snake would be quite cool in like a lizardman format. But yes, horribly unbalanced map, no doubt. I don't have a clue where the deployment zones are. This nice high ground can be really nice for vampirates. just defensive formation either way. But then again, the Beastmen can get really close that you shoot him because of these big shot blockers. But yeah, this map looks just disgusting to actually play on. But fantastic for us viewers, which is what we like to see. Can you lap around the back and outside? Probably. Just fight like here. Ignore like the actual disgusting city. But in we go. Oh no! I see what you mean. That is horrible. Okay, so the Beastmen have to trudge through the city. This map is a lot longer than I thought it was. But let's go through the challenges build to start with. And I really like his picks so far. This looks very competitive. So we have 3 Ungor Raiders, as I said before. Constant fire, very good against the lightly armoured vampires troops, and good at slowly taking down the bigger monsters. We have a couple units of hounds as well. Gore herds mixing with Blackhorn Ravagers, Regiment Renowned version, who look very cool. Look at these guys, they look so vicious with all the spiky horns cut off. They have perfect vigor as well, so really good in that late game. More hounds, loads of Gore herds as well, just to try and swarm, being pushed out all across the battlefield here. We have 3 units of the Razor Gore herds as well. Previously stated on them in the build up to this. Great at pinning people in, decent AP damage, and also anti-infantry. We have some Minotaurs, Butchers of Kalkengard, awesome name, regenerating Minotaurs. They just look so vicious, and they do a decent amount of damage as well. It's nice to see the shielded Minotaurs in action as well. From the latest consensus is they're actually better than the two-handed ones, even though the two-handed ones were used for so long over them, so it's interesting to see how the meta changes. We then have a Brave Shaman of Wild with the Cygor Summon. Of course, a Brave Shaman of Beast as well. Both of them coming in with the Sacrificial Knife as well. Jagged Dagger to gain more power reserve. So lots of summons, Manticores and Cygors. And then Morgul the Shadowgrave as well with all of his spawn summons, I believe. Protocol is the guy who took down a move streak with this build, or a very similar build at least. Let's see what they're saying. Looks like they're ready. One of these spawns. So, for Lord Zeus and his vampires, we have a ton of bombers in the front line, which is interesting. Nothing to hold back the enemy, it would seem. And then a load of zombie pirate Gary Mob handgunners. I'm assuming these guys would be in the front line. No, these are the handguns, though. I have no idea. So he basically has no front line here. He's just going to try and blob up the opponent, perhaps, and do some serious damage. This is a ton of punch. Probably best to get the zombie pirate gunnery mobs in the front line, take the damage, and allow the bombers to get in the real work. We have a Terrorgeist, probably going to be trying to use to blow up opponents. 1 unit of Fell Bats, looks like 2 units of Fell Bats. We have Queen Bess. What a position for Queen Bess to fire from as well. Firing off this huge hill, going to be a real challenge to deal with. But of course, attack and roll is in play, so both players will have to move forward. Gunnery White as well on top of a crab, and we have the mighty Count Noctilus on foot. Both players must attack. Both players must attack. Artillery accounts attacking. Just let him know that he must advance. So Queen Bess probably isn't going to be in sight straight away, so the rest of his army, or at least part of his army, will have to move up to attack. I can't actually see the range on it. This is a... look at this. Oh, is there a city underneath as well? No way does the city go underground. Oh, that is so cool. Sorry, didn't realise that they had underground cities as well. Maybe an under-empire is kind of been forming there as well. So it should be pretty interesting. Oh, just going to make sure you guys are all good in chat. Looks like everyone's doing all good. And we'll get this battle cracking. Good luck, have fun by Protocol. Looks like he's ready. Lord Zeus is awaiting. A little bit of a lag spike there, but should clear up. Had both these players on channel before, and most of the time it is pretty lag-free. I like how Protocol's not advancing too far ahead of his lines of his vanguard. Doesn't want to leave the Minotaurs and Razor Gores behind too much. Otherwise the charge would be kind of coming in like drips and drabs, which is really not what you want against the gun line. I'm super interested to see how on earth this army works. Lord Zeus' army. Yes, he has the high ground. He's doing his best Obi-Wan impression. But he has no infantry troops. Like combat-based ones at all. So as soon as they're going to get touched, they're going to get swarmed, you would think. Queen Bess is going to be doing some nice long-range damage, but against gore herds and stuff, value's not going to be huge. Maybe the Terrorgeist and Felbats can try and blob people up here, but if Protocol's clever, he will attack from a possibly three-pronged approach, rather than kind of funneling into the one gap. Good luck, have fun by both players, and we shall see how this goes. This is disgusting. Oh, damn right it is. So you can thank Raptor for this map. We tend to end the King of the Hill streams with disgusting maps now, which is just a bit of fun, of course. There's nothing on the line here, so Queen Bess not in firing range, so I will let Lord Zeus know he has to advance if he doesn't in a second. He is starting to move up with his Terrorgeist, but single entities do not count as attacking, so I'll let him know in a second. Beastmen are moving up. And yes, okay, so Lord Zeus is advancing as well, which is good to see. Of course, you'll give both players a little time to like scope out the opponents and see what they're going to do, but they are going to be moving down. To be honest, it's probably better for them to get here and do a real choke point fight. Less of a hill, but still decent work. Queen Bess still not in range, but doesn't want to give up her position here. She's being protected by a gunnery unit and the gunnery wight as well, which is going to be feeding her extra ammo. I'm honestly bamboozled by how this army is going to work. It's going to be really interesting. So these hounds can't be forgotten. They need to move up as well, ready to go as well. Looks like they are being. And a lot of troops taking cover behind this big pyramid. And there's a ton of shot blockers here for Queen Bess. But most of the shooting from the vampires is quite close quarters. You can see these guys are still advancing downhill. Terrorgeist just having a little look as well. So a perfect opportunity here for the Beastmen, to be honest. Would be hide all of your troops. I'd approach around here. I'd literally drag all of my troops, come up around this flank here, so we're actually fighting on an even playing field, and summon a Cygor. Force the vampire counts to come to you rather than going for this main attack uphill. It looks like that's maybe what he's doing here, and I really like this play by Protocol if that is what he's going for. Ungors getting a couple of shots into the Terrorgeist, who's duking back and forth, not really taking any damage, one or two heavily shots. So that's just floating around as well. So they're going to be doing pretty much what I said, I think, moving up around this hill. It's going to be a bit of a slow start to the battle, but I think it's definitely the way to go. Limits Queen Bess's shooting options, to be honest. And if they can get up on top of this hill, they'll actually be coming down onto the vampirates, which could work very effectively here. Some decent shots coming into the Felbats. Looks like they're contemplating swooping in, but you know, they're losing morale quite quickly, but health-wise, they're not too bad here. But they have managed to spot at least all of the Beastmen forces and kind of figure out what's going on. And look at this! The bats slowly going one by one up over the top of this snake here with the Terrorgeist before forming down here. Nice shots coming in there. Queen Bess still out of range, does not want to give up her position. It looks like the vampires still contemplating moving in, currently happy enough just to be taking shots from the Felbats and so forth. Beastmen needs to get moving and lap out around this right-hand flank. Are you attacking? He was moving in with the Felbats, but he needs to start pushing up and actually giving some orders to attack and move up. We'll give him a couple of seconds to see what he does, and it looks like he is now starting to move forward his units, which is fine. So a bit slow there, but we'll let him off this time, but we'll keep an eye on it. It is pretty tough. So Terrorgeist was thinking of getting there, but taking a few shots from the Ungor Raiders. And vampires, come on. Yeah, they are slowly advancing forward. Even Queen Bess is starting to get into range, which will allow him to actually sit back and get a bit more of a defensive posture that he does wish, which I can't blame him for. It is the best way of playing this in his position. Queen Bess is slowly rolling forward here, trying to get into range, and she does have a ridiculously long range, so she should be able to move up and start nuking people relatively soon. Felbats may have a little bit of a stalemate here. So it looks like Beastmen are starting to go for a flank though, which is fine. You are allowed to reposition it a little bit here. But the rest of the vampires are starting to move up fairly effectively. And Queen Bess, come on, move your little butt going downhill. I'd be a bit worried that Queen Bess would just roll down this hill. It's quite overweight here. Some zombies as well riding dirty on the flanks. Moving downhill, should get in some decent long range shots soon. Looks like she is pulled up, getting ready to attack now. And we should be good. Rest of the guys are starting to move to protect this left-hand flank. Felbats still chilling behind Cov now, waiting for their opportunity to hop on top of the Ungor Raiders. And Queen Bess, are you in shooting range yet? Not quite. We still have a load of repositioning coming in here by Lord Zeus. But Queen Bess, are you firing? No, okay, I'm going to give him a heads up. Okay, Queen Bess is moving, so we'll see how that plays out. If he stops the game without firing, I'm going to have to give him a warning to actually get moving. So the Beastman still just slow on his flank. I would just bring the whole army. I don't understand the want to charge up this hill. Bring everything around this flank. Yes, they're going to reposition to form defensively against you, but it's much better odds in your favour if that does indeed happen. And Queen Bess is now shooting, so he is indeed finally fully attacking here. Early shot coming in on the Razor Gauls, and is a swing and a miss. So we do have a small engagement over in the trees here. We have Fellbats attacking some Razor Gaul herd. Razor Gauls should be able to win this, you would think, but they might be broken off by the sheer amount of Fellbats. Sorry, I've seen your comment. Let that cannon slide hill. It will have a charge bonus plus 100. That is pretty damn true. So Razor Gaul herds have started to get terrified now, as I'm assuming the Terrorgeist is nearby. Why are these guys terrified? What are you terrified of? Just some Fellbats. Oh, somehow I didn't spot the giant Death Shriek Terrorgeist in there, who has managed to force off the Razor Gauls. Should be able to get them out of there as quickly as possible. And for the most part, though, Queen Bess still trying to advance. Really wants to keep his position up here on the hill. But I am going to let these guys know both must be attacking. Because the Beastmen are currently not attacking either. They can try and get these guys off the high ground all they want, but Queen Bess was at least attempting to shoot, and I can hear a shot going in there. But these guys need to move up. F for that game, I miss it. The map looks like Total War Arena. I never played Total War Arena. I never did, sadly. I kind of played as a kid a lot with Total War, Rome Total War, Medieval Total War, and then I kind of got back into it with Warhammer. So I also missed Shogun, which is apparently an amazing game. So, yep, we have attacking by the vampires, but Beastmen need to get going. Okay. Looks like he is getting moving. As we can see, those units still being chased off in the hills. Razor Gauls slowly being chased down. Queen Bess is advancing, trying to keep this posture where possible. He has to engage. Yeah. So, borderline by both players so far. Beastmen chilling back a little bit too much, and of course been very slow to get Queen Bess into the action. But now we are finally getting away. Queen Bess has pushed forward and is getting some decent shots in. So where is the shot going to land is the real question. Boom, right here in the middle of a load of Gore herds. Not taking too much damage though so far. Up to 0 kills, so literally just doing hit point damage there. Nothing too spectacular. Trying to use the pyramids for cover as much as possible, which is quite nice. And I definitely see what you mean about the vampires having the high ground here. If they decide on the other side, this would be a much bigger struggle for them, I believe. But finally, Beastmen are starting to whip around this right-hand flank, which is a much better place to engage in general. I mean, it's still got a few forces pushing forward, which isn't, I don't hate too much. It's quite nice to have pressure on 2 flanks when attacking a gun line, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, once he makes contact, what here is really going to be able to stop the Gore herds? Maybe just a mass shooting. The really key feature here is the Beastmen need to get engaged at the same time. This frontal assault is lagging behind this flank one. He needs to attack on both flanks at the same time to stop the kind of overarching lines of fire, right, between the bombers and the handgunners. Terrorites popping in now on top of some Ungor Raiders. We do have nice Wrath coming down on the Minotaurs as well. He managed to dodge for the most part and going to be coming into the action. We do have some summon, which is going to be really key here in trying to pin back the Beastmen forces. The Leadership Court needs to get summoning some of their own. I would like to see a couple of summons of the guys throwing rocks, completely for their name, Cygor, or maybe in the Manticore as well to put some backline of pressure underway. And the front line is also starting to move up as well. Gore herds pushing in on the bombers. We also have a Hounds getting in, which is a perfect pick here, actually. The Hounds will very quickly tear these guys apart, so he needs to spread out these attacks. Yeah, Hounds onto one unit, Razor Gores onto the next, and try and protect those Gore Herds from those bombers as much as possible. And as you can see, the bombers are going down incredibly quickly from this initial engagement. Up on the high ground, Minotaurs have managed to charge through, trying to break in on top of these bombers, but being sucked into Noculus here, not where they want to be. And the rest of the Leadership Corps is moving up. Butchers of Captain Guard getting in there as well. In the back line, we have Blackhorn Ravagers who managed to swoop around with some Chaos Warhounds as well. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at the amount of damage they're doing so early on. But there's still this really nice firing pocket, doing constant withering shots of fire. Minotaurs have popped into a Queen Bess. I would probably ignore Queen Bess at this moment and get onto the handguns. I think they're a much bigger threat. Saying that, Queen Bess is into 133 kills and does huge damage to this front line. Completely routing it, but the bombers also at the same time have been deleted. So where are these summons coming in? We do have a big old Cygor summon coming in and a Manticore summon. Literally pop the Manticore onto these gunners, try and rout as many units as possible. In the back line, Warhounds tearing apart hand gunners, and so are the Blackhorn Ravagers tearing apart bombers. It's literally this core here. He's done so good at swarming. Literally drop a Manticore down in here and start causing all kinds of troubles. Maybe a spawn of chaos will help as well. Unfortunately, look how many units he has pinned in on one zombie pirate gunnery mob, Terrorgeist and Noculus. Yes, it's nice to snipe them out, but the key here is leave those units to the end and take out all the ranged core here, which is much, much more key. Blackhorn Ravagers trying their best, but getting gunned down now from all angles. We do have a Chaos Spawn summon in the back, though, hopping on top of those zombie pirate handgunners, which is really nice because these guys are unbreakable, so there's almost no point shooting them at all. Load of Beastmen units here inactive. They need to get back into the front line and help. They've got like a clear shot here. Imagine if you get all these units up here onto the bombers, the Hounds into the handgunners. It's definitely possible, but unfortunately it's starting to falter the attack a little bit. Noculus is taking a bit of a beating here. At the same time, so many shots coming in. Fairman's Court beating the crap out of this Death Shriek Terrorgeist, who is getting a bit of a healing hand there by the invocation the heck. Should be able to escape, outspeed the Fairman's Court and heal up coming back into the action. Warhounds going to try and lap around and get into the back line. Nice play here now by Protool, really starting to pressurise this back line. The Gorehos have been reactivated as well. These Hounds need to come over here. Every little helps in this tough engagement. Looks like Queen of Bess has in fact charged into combat. And Minotaurs are holding the line. This Hero Core doing a decent job. Bray Shaman holding the line, but the big old Cygor does go down. Another summon that could be really key here. Count Noculus is starting to go pretty low here on the health. We have the Chaos Spawn in the back line trying to beat up the gunnery mobs. They are doing the best thing they can do in this situation, which is ignore them. Just walk around them. You're going to take the damage and not beat them in combat. Try and go over here and do as many shots as possible. Nice Feral Manticore summon does come into play as well. Bray Shaman of Beasts is forced off the battlefield. Should be rallying though, but he did manage to get both his summons off. We could possibly see another Cygor summon as well coming in at some point. So Chaos Warhounds have finally been made active again. They're going to be popping on top of the zombie pirate gunnery mob bombers and should be able to tear them apart relatively quickly. Backline is back online again for Lord Zeus. These guys need to turn around and start unloading some shots into the Beastmen. And this game is incredibly close, but it is slowly starting to go in favour of the mighty Vam Pirates. Even with the Manticore summon, that's pretty impressive there. So Fairman's popping in here, doing some decent work. Where is Count Noculus? He did manage to escape for the most part, and he's hunting down Morga. So Protocol shoved everything there in to take down Noculus, and it doesn't seem to have worked, unfortunately. Really nice summons so far by Lord Zeus. Been brought in here just to finish off the Bray Shaman and bring them down. In the distance, a very healthy Death Shriek Terrorgeist chasing off the Butchers of Calcan Guard. Can probably come back to the main fight. I hadn't seen that go in a while, so I thought the game was much closer than it was. With the Terrorgeist active, the balance power is now going heavily in favour of the Vampires in what has been a pretty damn sweaty game overall. Big defense play on hills, but it's the last game, so you know, it is what it's for. GG's to both players, and a great way to end out the stream with some disgusting play all round. Queen Bess 175 kills. Nice to see. We have this week's king. So let's update the scoreboard there quickly. Oh, check Discord quick because I got a long message, but I think we're fine. Yeah, we're all good. So, congrats. Ooh. Congrats, Zeus. You are this week's king. So, he may end as king, but no one unfortunately claimed the title of the longest win streak, unfortunately. But still, nice to see Lord Zeus go on top. We had multiple kings with equally successful reigns, ranging from Lord Zeus. I believe early on we had Chose One also got 2 wins. Park Map, I think, got 1 before it disconnected. Vyash got 1 as well, a 2 win streak. So nice to see some kings overall. So until next time. Peace to those guys. Protocol will hate you for map picking. I technically didn't pick the map. That was Raptor, I am afraid. Thanks for playing. So guys, it has been an honour. Thank you for sticking with me for this nearly 4-hour long stream. It's been an absolute blast. Please do leave likes, subscribe, all that good stuff if you did enjoy. Feel free to join my Discord down below. And now I highly recommend you head over to Turin's live stream. Head over to Turin's live stream and just say hello from me and enjoy some more Total War content. So until next time, guys, peace, and stay awesome.